call. Excuse me.
We're live.
It's the nursing home.
Hello, lovely people of the internet. 'Tis I, Ophelia, aka Savage Minnow, aka Red, here with my actual mother, who's an actual gamer.
Howdy. Howdy, little darlings.
And today we're actually cooking.
Because they have the hair pulled up.
Yeah, that's right. I don't really, but that's okay.
It's okay.
Well,
You know, the hair's pulled up because we're cooking. It's not that we're cooking because the hair's pulled up.
I mean,
yeah.
So,
And this is really, this is assembling.
but like I feel like that's kind of what Gamer Mom Cooking is for, where it's like, hey guys, here's some food that's easy
And this is healthy.
and not bad for you.
Yeah.
Sorry, but nugget and a biscuit, not great for you.
Yeah, no, that was. But those biscuits were good.
I'm just gonna say it. Not great for you, but
They were good biscuits.
sorry guys, I'm starting up this side for her to be able to see. I forgot that wifey was using this computer
For other things.
for other things, so it doesn't have the feed up, but I'll get it.
No, I don't need to see anything.
Okay. So today, if you can see on the screen, we're making tomato and mozzarella salad, and I wrote the word mozzarella so many times.
You know how to spell it?
I think I spelled it correctly, but it was one of those where
Mozzarella.
I was like, is it right? Because I've written it so many times this morning.
Yeah.
You know how that goes sometimes where you're just like...
Yeah, there was a word there for a while I never could spell, and then I spelled it so many times, and now I can't remember what it was.
I was just like,
Mozzarella.
We're here in Independence, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see the back? I tried to find a VPN location close to Independence, Missouri, just for funsies, but I couldn't find a strong one in Independence. So we're close to Independence. This is the town hall. There also was a dude sitting on a barrel behind me, but I cropped him out. I took sand from over where you're sitting and put it over.
You buried him in the sand?
A little bit, because I didn't want just some weird dude sitting on a barrel popping out behind my hip all the time.
Okay.
You know, that one guy, he was it was okay, you know?
Yeah.
But he was right where you'd be growing a growth out of my hip. I was like, no, it's not happening. Here, I'll show you the original picture.
I'm just concerned about him under the sand.
Here's the original picture.
Oh, he's kind of cute.
He's got a guitar.
Oh.
And I just took him out.
Oh, okay. Which is good when you're, I don't know. I'd go for the harmonica. You know me and the harmonicas.
Well, but I don't know if he's traveling or if he just is
He's
a
hanging.
dude who's hanging out, giving people
Because
advice.
he's good. He's got music, and that increases morale, and that was very good on the Oregon trip.
Yes, I think it's called Capri salad. Is that what it's called?
That's what I call it.
We had a comment.
Yeah. Agree. Or some people say caprese.
Is it caprese?
Some people say, I don't know. To me, it was caprice, but I've heard people say caprese.
I don't know how to
So maybe
say words.
somebody wants to tell us.
Yeah.
I
Are you
know.
familiar? Is it caprese salad?
Yeah.
Or
No, because you know the name, so that's good. There's also a pizza. You can get that type of pizza, which makes sense. Caprese pizza.
Yeah.
Does y'all know?
So we're kind of cooking today. We've got tomatoes, and I got the pre-sliced mozzarella because it was on sale at the grocery store.
You made it, and I didn't know if you were gonna do it.
Yeah, no, I didn't slice this myself.
Oh, this is a different angle.
That's it, caprese. Okay.
Does she know how to? Do they know how to pronounce it?
Oh, in Italy, it's caprese.
Caprese. Caprese. I like that. Caprese.
Are we saying it correctly now?
Where is it?
Right here. Sorry, I don't have the brightness turned very high. Here. I make it brighter for you. Caprese. Caprese.
Oh, I thank you for spelling it out. Yeah, I like that. Caprese. I like that. Caprese.
So we've got some English time It's not fully Italian.
Oh,
Oh,
where
is my light
are we
experiencing
strobing?
difficulties?
It is.
Yeah.
It's gone. That's how it's.
Bye.
Okay, that's okay.
That's okay. It was a cheap light. We've still got the sun. Anytime.
Which is better.
Aw.
Oh, thank you.
Caprese.
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 Caprese. Caprese. I'm very bad at pronunciation, as you know.
Yeah. Same.
Or reading it and figuring it out.
Yeah. We're both kind of bad at that.
Mhm.
The visual, I'm better at like hearing it. I can usually,
Yeah.
if I hear somebody say it, I can usually, I'm not too bad at like Klingon. Actually, wifey got mad at me when if any of you guys do Duolingo, you might have noticed there's a Klingon language tree on.
Oh my. Oh my. I feel like I knew that, and I feel like I'm also shocked.
So anyway, well, I think I spent like 3 days working on my Klingon Duolingo tree, and like wifey was just like so irritated. I was like,
Stop.
oh, okay,
Stop.
okay, I'll stop. Full disclosure, old Harry Potter mug. I feel like I have to say that whenever I have it on stream, just cause.
Just cause.
Hornacious says my dad still says tortillas.
Oh my gosh.
We have a friend who does that.
Oh my gosh.
When we did quesadillas, it was so hard for me to not say quesadilla. Like, as a joke, we always say it just to like tease this friend of
But
ours.
she will do it in a Mexican restaurant.
She's serious.
It's
She's
so-
like your dad. She's
It's
straight up
so
serious.
And, because she'll always, I don't know if she asks for them on the side. It always comes into the order.
Yeah,
I think she asks for extras on the side or something.
She asked for extra tortillas.
She must, because I mean, I think I usually blank out, but they come out in a little
They're
foil.
warmed. in
Yeah,
foil.
they bring them out in a foil package.
Can you
So
bring me extra warm tortillas, please? Yeah.
No.
Good times going to the Mexican restaurant with her. You know what? They're so nice though. Like the people at our local Mexican restaurant are just like the sweetest people that I know that they're like laughing so hard in the back, but like
Oh my gosh.
completely straight face.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Oh.
So I did run to the grocery store this morning and I got tomatoes. We're not having a great year for tomatoes.
We're not.
I don't know if it's any different where you guys are, but I think just like weather is weird everywhere. So I think everybody's kind of having a crap year for tomatoes.
Mhm.
But your English thyme looks good and it smells really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is probably way more than we need
Sure.
because
Yeah.
I just cut up the one tomato.
Well, and you don't need a lot of herbs usually.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But I
especially,
don't know what happened to my basil. I don't know.
yeah,
It didn't happen.
I like to have fresh basil or fresh basil, depending on where you live, with this. But
It did.
I couldn't find any at the grocery store either. But I have some anxiety, so like shopping early in the morning in the grocery store is like mostly okay for me. But like when I can't find something, it like starts to build up my anxiety. So I just like was like, I'm just gonna grab this and go.
And you knew we had this, so.
Right.
And you got some.
And I grabbed
Dry
some.
basil.
I got dry basil, just the leaves, crushed leaves, and then I also got a little bit of lemon pepper because I feel like I've had lemon pepper on this before. And
Really?
it's tasty.
Really?
We also have regular black pepper, so
Black? Oh, gotcha.
like black peppercorns.
See, in my mind, I was seeing a lemon salt for some reason. I don't know
Oh.
why. Lemon
Lemon
pepper,
pepper.
that does sound good. I don't know that I've had that.
I don't know.
Am I drawing a blank?
Sabatini says I have the same issue with grocery shopping.
Mm.
I've left full carts before. Same.
Yeah.
Same. I
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
it's one of the things where it's like I try to leave like my cold stuff till last, or just get cold stuff and go. Because yeah, I have had to like leave a cart before, where it's like I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't ever want to leave like cold stuff because then that'll give me even worse anxiety, so it's like
Yeah.
I gotta go put stuff back or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same for Portnacious. Yeah. And I feel like with like after lockdown and everything, it's like a little bit more for everybody. Like anybody who like kind of had issues with it before, like we're having worse issues.
Agree.
Worse issues now. But that's one of the great things about this is it's like just a few ingredients and you can kind of mix it up a little bit too. Like I said, I got the mozzarella, but I've seen like a tomato with like feta or
Yeah, that's good too.
you could do different stuff with it too. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what we could use instead of tomatoes because I did just get tomatoes, but like what's better this year?
Peppers are good, I think.
Peppers are good this year. That yellow pepper that I have is delicious.
Mm-hmm.
That would maybe be good to add into it. But yeah.
Yeah. You really can't replace a tomato.
Yeah, welcome to Anxiety Squad.
No. Yeah. 2020 made it worse for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, not to make light of, you had it really bad before that, so.
Yeah. It's been rough. It's been rough. But we're not alone, and that's one nice thing about like the internet is that like we can kind of get a little bit of a sense of community, and I can like
absolutely.
And I can be social with you guys even though I'm just in a room with my mom.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that I could actually like be social and like talk in front of a group of people. Even like there's 4 viewers right now. But I think that if like even if I was sitting like in front of 4 people, my anxiety's been really bad lately too. I don't know if I could even do that. I have done like that kind of thing in the past before when there was like that legislation thing and I talked in front of our legislators, but
I did it for a job, but
that's true.
But I had a presentation. I mean, I worked on my presentation each week. So.
Yeah. Giving a presentation is a little bit different than just doing live too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's also fun.
I had notes and stuff.
I do sometimes have notes. I have like obviously for when we do the Reddit stuff. I've got notes for that.
I have no idea what Reddit is. So.
Oh, the r/am I the asshole is awesome.
Oh, that's on Reddit.
Reddit, yeah.
And Ask a Woman, is that?
Ask Women.
Ask Women.
r/Ask Women is another.
So if it's
Reddit
R,
article.
that means Reddit. If it's r/.
Yes, usually like that means it's a subreddit.
Okay.
So like Reddit, if we're thinking of like it's like Facebook groups as a whole, and then each individual Facebook group would be
you
a
did
subreddit.
explain that. Okay. But the R means Reddit. Okay.
Yeah.
I just have to go on there and check that out. The Ask Women sounds interesting.
Yeah, I do like that.
Because I was saying, I've had this situation where you want to ask a man.
Yeah, does anybody know is there Ask Men? I could have looked, I guess, but we were trying to.
And
get
I
that
also
question.
know, I have a friend that, it was a curious kind of fella, and he would sometimes ask women, and he didn't mean anything by it, but he would offend women.
Oh, so it would be a good
It
subreddit
would have
for
been
him.
good for him. Because they're like, what are you implying? And he's like, I'm not implying, I'm just wondering. It didn't have anything.
Just asking.
Because the women he would ask at work, which don't do that, by the way, but they would think that somehow they were involved in it. It wasn't. He was just asking in general about women. And they were like, are you implying, that I need to shed my legs? Or whatever the issue was. So it would have been very good for him.
Portnacious said, I tried to stream a few days ago and it was just me going,
No.
Lucky for me, Twitch only keeps streams like 2 months back because there's definitely quite a few of those.
Yeah, I couldn't do it because when you leave the room, I can't even do it. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I think with a little bit of practice you could, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm just used to having the notes.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have to use the note, but you just have to. I have to have.
There's an Ask Men, but it seems kind of not great. Okay.
I wonder what that means. Not great. Like not enough guys answer it. And you don't get enough info, or.
What does it mean? Not great.
Yeah.
Are they being like raunchy? Are they like?
Oh, yeah. Are they not? Then nobody answers, or are they being smart alecks about it? What's or raunchy? I could see that. I'm making
Real quick note: other ingredient olive oil is actually all I've got here. besides that on the table.
And it is extra virgin. It's one of the rare times you can have it extra virgin. Because, yeah, it's extra. You usually can't have an extra virgin. You can have a virgin or non-virgin, but you can have an extra virgin.
So my mom knows I was very lucky when I was a kid. I got to go to Italy with my grandmother.
I do know that.
Well, I'm saying they don't know.
I know. I'm just saying my mom knows it. I'm just wondering. Now I'm curious.
And we went and saw where olive oil was made.
Oh no.
And I remember
And
this
you were a kid.
I remember this kid who was like on the trip with us.
No.
And like they sat down like a bottle of extra virgin olive oil in front of this kid. And he goes, extra virgin, just like me. And it was just like imprinted in my brain to like the point
Extra
where
virgin.
what was
Just
I
like me.
like 12 years old?
That's cute. And the trip was grandparents and grandkids, so his grandmother or grandfather or both would have been with him, not his parents. Were they, or was it grandkids separate? Because they did separate things.
I don't remember. I just remember
Because I'm just thinking as a grandmother. I mean, my oldest one is what, 5, 6.
maybe she was like up at the restroom when you
Yeah.
went to the restroom or something.
Oh my God! I'm just imagining your grandchild saying that. Well, I guess you'd be like, yeah, keep it that way.
Yeah, because we were like,
Granny says yes.
we were kids. We were not even teenagers.
Yeah.
I think we were like 12. So like, yeah.
Extra virgin. Just
Just
like
like
me. What a cutie pie.
He was.
I wonder what he's doing nowadays.
I have wanted to look him up. Actually, he's one that I maybe could track down because you know who his grandmother was.
I was gonna say, did he have a famous, not semi-famous, not fairly famous, but an actually famous grandmother?
Yeah.
She might have not been in the room. She might have. Don't spill any names.
Even if she was in the room, she might have been.
We cannot spill any names on that. Is she still alive or is she passed?
Cleves, if you remember.
Yeah.
Me.
Please.
Hit me up.
Don't say.
That was his nickname on the trip. That was.
Not in reals, you don't think? You don't know?
It's not his actual name.
I know, but it's an unusual.
Yes. Nobody's gonna put that together. There's so many things to connect.
Has she passed away?
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember I was telling somebody about like how ridiculous she was on this trip, and I was like, oh, let me look her up, and she had literally passed away like less than a week before that, and I was like, never mind, I'm not going to tell you the rest of that story. I can't.
Sorry. What's that one movie where?
I will not speak ill of the dead.
Yeah, that one movie where the guy is he's speaking ill of his wife to you adopt a foreign kid, and he's like complaining about his wife, and then the next scene the wife dies, and then the next letter he writes, it seems I spoke he has some nice way of saying that I shouldn't have said all that about my wife.
Shouldn't have said that shit.
Shouldn't have said that shit. Because he had just retired and they were home together and she was just driving him nuts. And he says, so I just spoke prematurely of my lovely wife.
Yeah. I was wondering if we should start assembling.
Okay.
Right?
Assembling. Oh, okay. So, yes. Will do.
And then I can read the Reddit posts
Oh,
to you.
Good. Oh,
She loves the subreddit posts,
I love him.
even though she doesn't know what Reddit is.
She's not wrong. She is not wrong. We're gonna.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Oh yeah, I need to switch the screen. You're right.
Okay, so we're gonna do this one.
Did I put? I think we're back in the apothecary.
I was wondering where we were.
Yeah. This is the livery.
Apothecary would be better because we've got herbs and such.
Here, we can be in the apothecary.
Are we the apothecary?
Yeah.
love you about you.
But see, there's this dude, and he's slightly better placed, okay?
I like him. Oh, I was gonna bring my notebook again this week because I like the way
He's writing in his register, yeah.
I like the way he registered.
I think I want to tilt this up like ever so slightly because I feel like it's chopping off the tops of our heads.
Don't overdo it with that. Easily done.
Okay. Let's see when I go back if it's terrible.
Oh.
Well,
Do we know why? Well, yeah.
it's fine.
Okay. Okay.
It's better. Okay. Oh yeah, because we really only need like one bite. I was like, that's not very much.
No, very much. Right. Do we need a knife to cut
Yeah,
pieces?
I was thinking that.
Okay. Get a knife so we can have pieces. So this one has the English time. I'm gonna say. Should we do it back? Let's cut it in half and do half of it basil and half of it lemon pepper,
Okay.
please. Nice knife.
Thanks. Oh, I forgot that you don't have that weird thing where you can't take a knife out of something.
What? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. What?
I didn't know if that was a cultural thing or.
It was a superstition. I don't know if it was a
Personal thing.
cultural superstition.
Okay.
Let me know in the chat if you guys are familiar with it. It's a cultural superstition that my ex had. Well, maybe it was cultural, maybe it was just a weird superstition. That he couldn't,
Not that he couldn't. Well,
no, he couldn't
he couldn't, you're right.
take like a blade out of somebody's hand.
I would say he chose not to, but.
Like whether it was a scissors, a knife, whatever, he would make you put it down.
Oh, that's right about the scissors, too. Yeah, you would be set down and then picked up. Like you didn't-
Sabatinius redeemed a bonus stretch, so we need to get up and stretch.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
We gotta get up and stretch. If you guys want to participate at home, let's take a minute. Nice hand stretch is good too if you're doing crafting.
Oh, yeah.
I like to move my thumbs and my fingers.
Oh, that's nice. I never do that.
It's also a good one if you're using a mouse a lot, this one.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a good call. So thank you for that.
Thank you for redeeming it. That feels good.
Mhm.
That was nice.
Yeah, it was. You know, if can we mention other people? And Bob and Brad, they are PTs, physical therapists,
Okay.
and they are on YouTube. They're on Instagram too, but the Instagram is really shortened, and I find it difficult. And they just
Their channel name is Bob and Brad.
I believe so. And their little song is really cute, and they have a little jingle, and it says Bob and Brad, the most popular physical therapists on the internet. And then the other one goes, or one says that, and then the other one says, in our opinion. They say that every week. In our opinion, Brad.
Oh, we have a new follower.
But,
Thank you.
But they are great because it's just like, you know, physical therapists have so much good information. If you've ever gone to a physical therapist, it's just like, oh man, I'd love to be friends with them. And these guys, I mean, they just give you all this information, and they'll talk about stretching at your desk, they'll talk about aging, they'll talk about it's everything. So I really recommend.
Especially when you get one that's like a good nerd that like
Oh,
actually
yeah.
wants to like look up that stuff on their own and like
Yeah.
retains that information
Yeah.
and then like can actually share it.
And that's a good point, because I think one of them is more nerdy than the other one. And he goes into all the.
Ooh,
They
so
both
it's a good
know.
pair.
They both know it.
They can play
I'm
off of
sure.
each other.
But one of them, he really goes into the nerd stuff, and then the other one demonstrates it a lot. So it's just kind of what they've gotten into.
Pugnacia says you don't take the knife because you'll fight the other person.
Oh,
Okay, so maybe it was like a nice
thank you.
thing.
That's nice. Like, I don't want to draw a weapon on you, kind of thing, maybe.
We won't, yeah, won't touch the
Thank you for that. Is this?
well either end of the
Oh, that information is wonderful.
the weapon.
We've learned how to pronounce caprice, caprese, and we've
Caprese.
learned why we don't. Some folks do not pass a knife back and forth. A blade. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Oh yeah, so I said I was
Thank
gonna
you
do the the Reddit posts. These are all from r/Am I the Asshole from the last 24 hours. I usually try to like pick some based on the titles. I was having issues like on Reddit period this morning, so these were just the first 6 that I found, and then this is the only one that I pulled out of order is the first one. The rest
Should
of
we
them,
do all of them, or should we be like, Johnny?
does it go like that?
It goes like that.
So like
I
these are my
believe
2
that-
bites, and those are your 2 bites. Okay.
Whatever bite you
I mean,
There's 3 bites, but you can have whatever bite you. These I believe to be lemon pepper, and these, and it is coming back.
basil, yeah.
And it is coming back to me, the lemon pepper, yes.
Okay.
I just haven't cooked in so long. And this one, we're gonna call it.
English thyme. Oh, sorry, I left the
it's-
stem in there.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a hard piece.
Sorry, I left the
It's
stem
okay.
in. I kind of suck at cutting tomatoes.
It's okay, they look very, I mean, I don't think you do, because they look very pretty. But I'm gonna cut this one.
Reddit is weird, like, every once in a while, but yeah, I was like, everything was being obnoxious. So I'm glad that I wasn't the only one experiencing that this morning.
Okay, so this one is the English thyme.
Yes.
And
So,
you could probably use other oils too. What?
yeah, probably like a sunflower oil would be nice. I don't know if it would have as much flavor as an olive oil.
Yeah, good point. But your oil and your basil, that's your
Let's try this one. I'm gonna try the
pesto.
English thyme
That's
first.
your pesto. You know.
This is the English thyme. I'm trying this one first. Sorry, I put up the.
I'm gonna do it too. Should we both be eating at the same time?
Yeah, we'll
But
do it.
we can't be talking.
This is a small bite.
That is a good tomato.
I like that thyme too.
It's just a little bit.
Okay, first one is called Am I the Asshole for Getting Upset When My Girlfriend Nearly Started a Kitchen Fire? You see why I put this one up front? I'm gonna try the lemon pepper one. I guess I should read it first. Okay, you get to try the other one.
I did check my blood sugar earlier, didn't
You did. I don't know what it was.
I? And I didn't do anything about it. I just checked it and put the thing away.
Do you remember what it was? Should probably
I
check
can
it.
look it up though.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that. If you have type 1 diabetes, take care of it. Just saying.
Quick blood sugar check for everyone. Hey, if you need to get up
No,
and
I'm just-
get some water if you're thirsty, go get a drink of water.
And stretch.
Put some.
I'm not gonna do it because some people,
Oh, okay.
they don't
I
like
was
it.
gonna say put something in front of it. No, Twitch will ban me because it's blood.
No, I'm just, it's in the memory here.
I mean, I don't think
wanted
that
to
they would
check
do it for that, but like,
Hold on. Oh wait, so if there's blood on there, they're gonna.
yeah, they'll straight up ban me.
Okay, let me,
Oh, I should add a hydrate redeem. Yeah, you're fine.
so I'm gonna take my insulin.
Okay. My ex was from like kind of the area between India and Nepal. So not exactly like Russian Ukrainian area, but like same side of the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know.
And superstitions like that, like definitely.
And this person says it's a
Russian / Ukrainian
Yeah.
area.
yeah, Ukraine. I can see
Superstition.
that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's nice. Okay, insulin taken.
Yes, it's a kitchen fire. The first one is about a kitchen fire.
Oh yes. And would they trick us on the titles?
Yeah.
Because why would you get upset with someone over a kitchen fire unless they did something really stupid? Not
Yeah.
stupid, but they made
And
a careless error.
I compile these totally based on the title. I don't actually read them until I'm reading them to her, unless they are marked not safe for work. And then I'll read through it. And if it is actually safe for stream, I might add it. If it's not, I'll. But like, I don't want to like end up on stream and be like, never mind, we're not answering this.
Yeah. If it's gotcha. Okay.
But those are the only ones that I read. So if it's not marked, then, or if they're already marked and they've got like a lot of like upvotes and it's like from 6 hours ago and it's like you are already marked as the asshole, like I might go ahead and add that anyway because it's fun.
How much time does it usually take on there till a decision is made?
It could be days. It just depends.
Okay.
Yeah. Usually it's like 24 hours, I would say.
Okay. Because I haven't been on there in a long time.
I am a 30-year-old male homeowner. I've been with my 25-year-old female girlfriend for about 8 months when we decided to try living together. So we've been living together for 2 months when this happened. We both work full-time, and she's also in grad school. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
She's extremely scatterbrained, absent-minded and messy. That's me. Sorry.
And we're assuming he owns the house.
He's the homeowner.
Separately. Because he doesn't say we are homeowners.
He says, I am a homeowner.
I'm just spelling that out because it would be his house that was almost
I am homeowner.
burned down.
That's the first sentence. You need to get your notebook. She's extremely scatterbrained, absent-minded, and messy. She was cooking a soup on the stove and apparently went into the other room to do homework, and at some point she fell asleep on the sofa. Ooh. So when I got home, I walked into the kitchen and most of the water had boiled off of the soup and it had started smoking. I will describe both my reaction and her reaction as accurately as possible, as I possibly remember, whether it makes me look like an asshole or not.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate the honesty.
Well, we don't know if it's on.
Yeah, hopefully it's
We
honesty.
always think we're, I'm being unbiased here.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
We'll see how unbiased this really is.
Okay.
Because I want to get an honest answer on whether or not I'm the asshole. Okay. I was infuriated because we live in an area that has forest fires. I almost lost the house that I grew up in because of a forest fire, and it could potentially cause devastation. So when I saw what was going on, I started yelling. I yelled at her until she woke up. I said, "What the F do you think you were doing?" She said she didn't mean to fall asleep, and I said, "You almost burned my house down, and you
And he
think..."
says my house. Which it is his house.
It is. It is.
I know, but...
"You almost burned my house down, and you think I don't mean to is an okay excuse." She said she was sorry, and I said that didn't cut it. I said from now on, if she wants to use the kitchen, she's not allowed to leave the room while there's a flame going on the stove. She said she did not like being talked to like a child, and I replied, "Act like a child, get treated like one."
Oh.
That was the last thing I said. You didn't bring your red flag today.
No.
Red flag, red flag.
Red flag.
That was the last thing I said, and I saw an instant change come over her. She left the room and went to go clean up in the kitchen. After a few minutes, I felt sorry and went to help her clean up, and she said it's fine. She'd take care of it. I went in the bedroom to get changed, and after a few minutes, I saw her car pulling away and leaving. I was glad she left because I was still pretty angry, so it would give us some time where we didn't have to look at each other. You're in a house, not a studio apartment.
Gosh, I wish I had that red flag.
Red flag, red flag, red flag. You need like a buzzer. An asshole buzzer.
Anything.
Night came and I didn't hear from her.
Night came. I like I like his words. Because she lives there. She doesn't have her own apartment.
She lives there, yeah. Night came and I didn't hear from her, and I texted and then called her to see if she was okay. No reply. Then I started calling some of her friends and family members, and then I got a call from her stating that she was okay and asked me not to contact her family members. Good on her. I went to sleep, got up, went to work, came home. When I got home from work, all of her things were gone. I tried to call her, and I was blocked on every form of communication. I haven't heard from her since then, and it was several weeks ago. What I'm wondering is, was I really such an asshole to justify that kind of brutal reaction? Brutal reaction? I think anyone who had their house almost burned down would be upset. I have an inclination here.
This is
the end.
Yet? Okay.
That's the end. I have an inclination here that that this is maybe not the first time he has said some insensitive things. My brother burned a pot of water when he was like 12. This is comments. and it didn't come close to starting a fire.
Mm-hmm.
But this is soup, so there's
Okay.
soup stuff in there. Also, judgment, this is, again, comments, not the asshole for being upset. Yes, the asshole for calling her a child, especially being older and the owner of the house. The feeling is valid. Extreme reaction is uncalled for.
Okay, I also knew somebody who, because they were staying with somebody and they did it, and they repaired, they had it repaired, but they burnt out the burner, because the pot dried, everything evaporated out of it, and then that somehow killed the burner. But it went out. It didn't. I think that I don't think there's stuff jumping out of the pot and starting a fire. I don't.
Yeah, it was probably just a lot of smoke.
Yeah.
But he probably did think his house was burning down, especially if he had like
he's
that.
got an issue about that. We can see that. But
Yeah.
okay, so all that aside.
I'm gonna try the peppercorn one.
Okay,
Or
all
the
that
lemon pepper.
aside, almost burnt the house down. And I think it hit a button, bumped a button of his that
It hit a nerve, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Here it is. This is not the first issue. You know it. This was not the first issue, sir. No one leaves over this. You,
Right.
you were telling her, oh, don't act like a child and I won't treat you like a child. Hello, that's a dick comment. I'm sorry.
That's an asshole comment.
That is an asshole comment. And that she had a brutal reaction. No, she is up to here with your shit. And this was the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back. And she's like, I don't need this shit anymore. I work full time. I'm going to school. I don't need this shit. Why do I have to put up with him? And she's like, bye-bye. And she did it. She didn't rant. She didn't rave. She was calm. And which tells us it's been going on for a long, tells me it's been going on for a long time. And she's kind of been detaching. Because if she was like they were so close, she'd be like, oh, it would, I think he's been treating her like this.
Also, I think if they were so close, her reacting and saying like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Would have been like, for him to be like, oh, like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you awake, but like, this is something that we need to deal, he would have had some compassion for her.
He had no compassion.
He literally scared her awake.
He had no compassion for her.
And she was the calm one.
You're right. Well, he was scared coming into his home.
Right.
They were both scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. She was, yeah. Yes, you.
Also, calling various family members is weird. That is a little bit weird unless they were close with the family. Like, if wifey called you, that wouldn't be weird to me.
That would not be weird.
But if it went the other way, if I called my mother-in-law, that would be a little bit weird.
Yes.
We're not on that level.
I've been known to, I'm not going to say stalk, but I've been known even before the internet to be able to get a hold of people. It would freak them out. They're like, how did you get a hold of me here? It's like, well, you said you were going to. So
we live in a small town, and when you live in a small town, I heard somebody say this one time, and I was like, that is so exactly the truth. You may not know everybody, but you know somebody who knows everybody.
But the one that I'm well known for was not in this small town. It was in a big city that's nearby.
Yeah, because once you get those skills from living in a small town.
Maybe that's it. I honed it.
I told you about that boss that I had, where he like kind of shorted me on like a final paycheck, and he was a little bit of a country guy, and we kind of gotten to be friends, and I understood why he shorted me on the paycheck, but it was like his own stupidity that he had ended up basically not having enough money to pay me when the business closed down, and he ended up shutting off his phone also because he was broke, and we had this shed that like needed all this just crap mud. It had like flooded, and we needed like the whole thing just cleared out, and I was like, I'm gonna get my old boss to do that. And I remember telling a friend of mine who's from a city, she was like, if I used to his phone was shut off, like how are you gonna get hold of him? And I was like, I'll find him. Like,
Yeah.
don't worry. And I did. Like,
Yeah. Well, the one I found was before cell phones. But she said she was going to a meeting, and what type of meeting it was, and I knew those meetings were held at libraries. And I went through the list of public libraries, and actually.
You knew what area she was in? Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't important. There was something she needed to know urgently. I don't know what it was. But yes.
So Tanya said it's like being in the queer community here. Everyone is connected.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I felt like that's a
Community.
stereotype. I just felt like, I shouldn't, I wouldn't, if it, yeah.
That's true also in the queer community close to where we are. And you know it's true.
No, I didn't, because it's like, I thought that was a rude, what do you call it?
Like a stereotype?
Yes, a rude stereotype. Like, oh, I'm gay and I'm from Boston. Oh, do you know Bob? No, we don't all know each other, But maybe that.
But we kind of do all know each other.
Fair enough.
It's like,
Okay.
no, but who does he hang out with?
Yeah. Who's this Bob hang out with? Okay, so number one, and because I do not say you are the asshole, but you, sir, have made so many asshole moves.
Yes, you sir have acted like an asshole.
You have acted like an asshole. And
I'm a royal asshole.
a royal asshole. Your house, you're this, you're that. Well, good for you. You're 30, you own your own home. Good for you, then.
She works too, so like.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
She's got her shit together. She does not need this type of behavior, and good for her. And Bob and Brad, who I was just mentioning, isn't that odd? Because sometimes they'll put up a question on there and they'll say, what would you like to tell your younger
Should I
self?
find Bob and Brad so I can give them
I love Bob and Brad. And because they put up, what would you like to tell your former self? I think they just started doing this on Instagram because they realized they can't put that long form, so they're trying to put something of, I don't know. But, and so
I found him on YouTube.
yeah, so people were putting like, but this is something I would tell my younger self. And she's 25 and she knows it. Don't take shit.
Don't take shit from no one.
Do not allow yourself to be treated lower than you should be treated. You are not to be told you act like a child. F him.
Yes.
And you have the right to act like a child. I mean, come on.
That's the link for Bob and Brad.
And he was like, she can't leave the kitchen. Did we ever hear
Yeah,
that?
you can't leave.
You can't leave the kitchen. If you put a cake in the oven, you stay in that kitchen for an hour.
Oh my God! Can you
Can you-
imagine?
What
Can you imagine?
have we never heard of timers?
Right?
Yeah, but like you said, this is something this is
needs-
something we could have discussed.
She
Yes.
needs to have a timer on.
I get
or-
it. I told last week about overflowing the water. So it's like you need a timer, maybe you need a little bracelet to put on. I started using that little thing you used to have, it was like a ring, but it went on a vape.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? I keep
They
that.
don't, but it's okay.
It's a little thing you could put on your
It's
finger.
just a silicone ring.
A silicone ring, that's it. So I have one of those, and I started when I put something in the stove, I put that on my finger now. Because I'll heat up hummingbird food. It doesn't, and you don't want to, I don't think I would burn my house down though, but I don't want to.
That's one of the things that I like about my toaster oven. You guys can see my toaster oven. It's a bajillion years old.
I like that.
My toaster oven's 40. And even when you put it on now this I think is just like a thing that has happened because it's worn out and it's like over 40 years old.
It's not a feature of your new.
But the like dinger thing is weird. It does always work whenever it's on the toaster. It also intermittently works whenever it's just like set on the oven setting. It'll just like randomly ding, and it's like I've gotten better about like making sure that it's like off, but like especially years ago, there were times when I was like, oh, that thing's still. I'm sitting down to eat and I hear it ding, and I'm like, oh, yeah, let me.
The random part just concerns me.
I think it's probably like about every like 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh.
It's pretty regular.
It's kinda like when
it's
you
to the
hear-
point where I don't use it. I'll bring it out into the sunroom if I'm going to use it in the morning because I don't necessarily know that it won't ding while I'm using it and wake up wifey.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So, yeah. So,
So number one, you acted like an asshole.
you, sir.
Number two,
You know who you are.
Let me pull up the link for everybody.
I'm registering this just like the guy.
Yeah, because there's some reason why we need to do that. But if you
Because I asked you questions and you're like, I already told you that.
That's
Go
true.
get your notebook. You said
That's true.
you weren't wrong.
Okay, so number 2.
Mm-hmm.
I have to scroll because I mean, it's okay. Oh, this one, I've already made a judgment reading the headline, but like,
But it can be
maybe
a 180.
it'll be a curveball.
It can be a 180.
This one is titled, "Am I the asshole for telling a disabled veteran that it was his own fault he's disabled?"
Yes, sir. There you are.
Do I need to read it?
He better come up with something good.
Okay.
He's got to come up with something good.
He says, "Looks bad," he or she. He, she, they.
I'm gonna go with the basil.
Yeah, I think that the basil with, I should have put a little thyme on it. Basil with the thyme is my favorite. Today, while I was out shopping, I stopped to use the bathroom. It was a public bathroom. It's a toilet if you're not in the US. With many stalls, and I have some mobility issues, and I use a mobility scooter, so I typically use the handicap stall.
Mm-hmm.
I was told it was a disabled stall, not a handicap stall, but whatever.
Some people are picky about it.
That's okay. I was in there for a little while because I have Crohn's as well, and I heard a man out of the door getting very upset. He was loudly complaining about the wait time, which was embarrassing to me. When I came out, I saw the man in a veteran hat, leg amputated, and looking red like he was near tears. I felt just as bad based on that and said, "Sorry, man, I hope you didn't wait too long." Oh, well, that was nice of you.
So far good.
I'm guessing it's the men's room because they're like, but we don't know. It could be a gender neutral restroom.
Yeah. I don't want to get into that.
Well, because he said he went into the stall.
Yeah, because there's usually a urinal there. I've only been.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to come up with an excuse of why I know that.
If you've done housekeeping, you know.
Okay.
I think most if you've ever worked somewhere and
I
cleaned the
worked.
bathroom.
I worked somewhere and did that. We're gonna go with that. So I think that is where you would, if you only needed to urinate. But some people, I think
But
some
we
guys.
don't know. It could be a gender neutral bathroom and there's only stalls.
Yeah, and you didn't mention a urinal, and I think some guys don't like to. I don't know.
But it did seem that there's more than one stall.
Yes, it did sound like that.
But this is specifically the disabled or handicapped stall.
Yeah, and the guy has a scooter. Which
And so
those,
says-
knowing people that have those, I am impressed that he could maneuver that thing in there.
Maybe
it's
he left it outside. I don't know. We
yeah.
don't know.
Or maybe it's a smaller scooter than aware
Maybe.
of.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and he
just
said,
says,
"Sorry, man."
"Sorry, man. I hope you didn't wait too long."
Yeah, good.
He nearly exploded and yelled, "Because you can't control your damn weight. Now I fucking pissed myself. I fought for my country and I can't even use the bathroom with dignity."
Well, you were not carrying yourself with dignity, sir, to talk like that to another human being.
Sure enough, he had wet himself. I felt really bad for a second until I realized that what he said, "I'm just as much disabled. I have mobility issues and probably wouldn't fit in a regular stall if I tried." I told him that it's
Oh, he's heavy. He's large.
okay.
I'm trying to put the pieces
I
together.
think so. I
Yeah.
think so because he said because you can't control your own damn weight. I told him that if it's my fault, I'm disabled, it's just as much his fault and his decision to join the army. He started screaming some more, but I just left. I'm shamed all the time for my disability, and I never do it to someone else, but this really got me. He shouldn't have waited to the point that he wet himself. If I was an amputee too, who would he blame then? Yeah. I came home and told my wife about it, and she didn't see it my way. She's been giving me dirty looks all day and saying she's ashamed of me. But I think I have a valid point, and I would have said that if if he hadn't been so ableist. So, am I the asshole here?
And the wife said she's ashamed of him. That's a bit much.
Yeah. The wife, I wouldn't say it's shameful.
Did she say that, or did she say that is he putting words in her mouth? Did she say? I think that was kind of a dick move you made there, bud. But anyway, that gets me. And then what is he saying to tell the guy he shouldn't have waited that long? What do you?
Yeah. What was his other option?
Like he should have gone in there an hour before. You're like, oh, I'm gonna go now because maybe in an hour I'm gonna need to pee.
Yeah.
And
some people, like, it's like when they have to go, they have to go. Like,
that's
we don't
what
know
I was
his
gonna
inner-
say.
Yeah.
Well, and you don't know his physical.
I was just gonna say that.
That's a physical thing. And I know several people from either a disease or accident or something that there's no time. It's like, need to go, going.
Let's go.
Yeah. There is no leg that time there. So we waited to pee too long. I don't like that. And it's completely you know what? Everybody's wrong. Everybody's wrong in this.
Yeah. So Britannia said, as a disabled vet, not the asshole. He was defending himself in the heat of the moment, and the vet shouldn't have been yelling at that guy. I agree.
And thank you for that.
Trail of Debris says, "What's that acronym? Eesh, everyone, and it sucks here. What's the acronym?"
I don't know the acronym, but you're right. Everybody sucks here.
Yeah.
You
all suck.
Every single one of you.
You're all assholes.
Well, they suck.
I think that's probably the acronym though for the Reddit is probably like "you're all assholes" or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yes. He started out fine. Sorry, man. The vet.
Yeah, he tried to apologize.
The vet seems to be the first one
for something that he really didn't need to apologize for. I mean,
Right.
it's polite too.
Yeah. So that's good. And it seems to me, if we're gonna go by mapping this out, that the disabled vet was the first one.
She is really cute.
The
What? Somebody said you're cute because you take notes.
oh, she doesn't like answering my question. Yeah, but I do like taking notes.
She doesn't
I do.
like taking notes.
I did. We didn't figure that out. I didn't figure that out till last week, but I do. I was always that one in class. So the disabled veteran was the first one to behave like an asshole. If we're charting this,
First asshole, disabled vet.
yeah, first. Well,
Again, I'm with her. I don't like actually labeling somebody an
that was the
asshole.
first asshole move.
But that was the first asshole move was the
Yeah.
disabled vet.
Now we don't know. Maybe his best friend and his dog just died. But he was really friggin' rude and say you can't control your own way. Well, F you. You don't know
exactly.
Yeah, you don't know what his issue is. But then, scooter guy to come back and say it's much your fault for joining the army. Hello?
Yeah.
Come on. That is low. Man. This guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm even a pacifist, and that's low.
That's
I'm not
low,
gonna.
yeah. He's a vet. Let's show him
Yeah.
some respect.
Let's show some respect.
Enough
for that.
respect just to zip it and walk away.
Yeah.
And just let him be the only one who did the asshole move.
Yeah.
And let it go. But yeah.
And yeah, so then
I don't think it's shameful though. His wife shouldn't be ashamed of him.
we don't know if, like I said, but she's giving him side eye for a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's like, you're being a dick. Which,
And depending on his age, maybe he was drafted. That's a good point.
absolutely.
Yeah, and we could cut him some slack because he did wet himself. Yeah.
And yeah, well, we don't know the details, and we don't know if this is the first time he wet himself, or if this is something that happens and he needs to plan ahead for that.
Y'all need to cut each other more slack.
You can wear pads or Depends or something if this is a thing, and that's hard, I think, for people to make that first step to say,
I need to put on what they think of as a diaper. Yeah.
So if you know anybody like that, call them disposable underwear. That helps. or
I
disposable
saw-
briefs.
I saw a really.
I learned
cute
that from
TikTok
an
the other day.
OT because therapists.
Especially for men too, like if you call them briefs, like just
Yeah.
disposable briefs.
Yeah. Learned that from a male OT.
I saw TikTok the other day because wifey's on TikTok now, and it was amongst other things. The guy said, "You start out, you come into this world in diapers, and God willing, you go out of this world in diapers, and every day in between, we all just wake up going, what the fuck am I doing?"
That is correct. You are correct as yes. And what I also read.
That's it. I'm not usually like correct. That's a Mr. Rogers reference.
Yeah, that's Mr. Rogers. It was correct as usual. King Friday.
King Friday is the one who's
Because
usually
King
correct.
Friday was usually correct, or so he thought.
Yeah.
I think maybe they just indulged him.
Yeah.
They just indulged him. So I read that person called they got their karma going for them. You don't need to get your karma.
Ooh, I like that.
They inflicted and cited their own bad karma. You don't need to get your bad karma going.
Yes.
Walk away.
Yeah.
Didn't we? Yeah, wasn't there? Just say no.
I feel like that didn't work though.
Yeah.
Nancy Reagan tried that and it didn't work.
Yeah, but one time we talked about it's not just for drugs. Just
Yes. Yeah, I feel like
just
it
say
works. It works better with things that are not drugs.
You're correct. You are correct. So, with anger outbursts,
Just say no and walk away.
say, boy, he's a dick having a hard day. And I know that's easier said than done. I know that's easier said than done. I had a guy go off on me in the grocery store, and I just sat there and cried. It's hard, but
Number 3
Mhm.
is called, am I the asshole for making my husband and the kids leave the house for the weekend? This one did make me smile. I was like, yeah, we'll include that one. I, a 30-year-old female, have been married to my hubby, 34-year-old male, for over 7 years now. We have 2 kids together, ages 5 and 8. Hubby and I, did you get all the information? Okay. Hubby and I both have advanced degrees and work in healthcare. But I'm the breadwinner of the family. This past Monday, I offered to pay for a trip for him and the kids because I wanted to have the house to myself for the weekend. Well, me and a couple girlfriends, we all pitched in to have a couple manicurists come over for the day. Really, it's like a girls' weekend.
it's sweet.
That is
That's
sweet.
fun.
We live in Florida, so I paid for the 3 of them to go to Disney. Food, fast passes, rooms, etc. Oh my gosh!
That's expensive.
Can you be my grandma so that my mom can, like, you can send me and my mom? I want to go to Disney. Okay, there's
You
all
got to
included in
go.
the
Your
deal.
aunt was very kind.
Yeah, I got to
you.
go once. I did. I got to go once as a kid, and I want to go back so bad. We're saving up. I might talk about it in our not-sponsored segment. But okay. Hubby immediately tells me that I'm being selfish for wanting the house to myself and that the trip is more geared towards the kids, so what is he supposed to do? I told him that the Disney thing wasn't set in stone, so if he wanted to pick somewhere else, that's fine. I am 34. I like to go to Disney.
Will you take the kids with you?
I will take your kids to Disney.
The 5 and 8 now.
I will take your kids to Disney if you send me and my mom, because my mom is better at watching horror than I am.
This is gonna cost this woman some.
But like, oh my gosh. Okay. He's suggesting that they spend the weekend in North Carolina at Outer Banks, and that really pissed me off because we were planning on spending a week there in October, as neither of us had been there. I told him that we were already planning a trip to go there, and that I'd rather see it for the first time together. At this point, he's annoyed and tells me, just buy the effing Disney tickets and be done with it. So, that happened. I thought I was being generous with my deal, but apparently hubby thinks I'm being unaccommodating. This isn't the first time we've had spats like this over trips either. Am I the asshole here?
You're kind of controlling. You are kind of controlling. And, okay, I get the girls' weekend. It's a lot of fun if it works out. It
Yeah.
is a lot of detail. What do you call that?
It's a lot of moving parts.
Moving parts. Yes, it's a lot. And because
I didn't know that's what you were gonna say,
and
but
there was a different word I can't think of, but that one works. Because as you know, I forget words lately. So it involves her husband, the 2 kids, and then every woman on the trip, branch that out.
yeah, and like if they have spouses or kids or
God forbid an in-law that lives with them, we don't know.
right,
Okay,
ailing parents.
what I have heard of, what I have done twice throughout the years, is, let me think this through. Yeah, rent a B&B. You rent a B&B and you go and you have girls' weekend and it's funsies.
Oh yeah, and then you guys can get out of the house, and then hubby doesn't have
Yeah.
to worry about it.
And what was this doesn't sound like it was just discussed. And I wouldn't want to just, I'm not a Disney person, which is why she went with her aunt. I don't want to just go to Disney with a kid, it's because it's not my jam.
You're more on hubby's side. Me and the comments are more on wifey's side.
Okay, but yeah, she wants a break, but she needs to work it out. Let's work this out together.
I agree.
Let's
There
work
needs
this
to be
out
some
together.
compromise.
And she gets real pissy about, no, not Carolina, but that, okay, but then he's saying,
Okay,
no,
but
not
what?
Disney. So let's work on something else. Communication. This goes back to the 1 week, every single one of them was poor communication. And she's just got it all spelled out. She says it's flexible later, but first she says, the weekend and the pass, and that she's got it all lined out.
I think it was part of a package though, that she was like, I'll just get you the deluxe package.
Okay.
Because they do have packages like that. I've looked at it. We have a piggy bank. We're saving it.
And how much is that gonna cost? I'm like, y'all could be.
You haven't seen the size of our piggy bank. Yeah, it's gonna cost a lot.
Yeah, which is fine. You both want to do it, and you're saving up. But I'm saying in this, he could, for what she's, I think, gonna pay for Disney. They could all go on separate trips. And he doesn't want.
It doesn't have to be Disney or Carolina. It can be a third place. I think we're all agreeing that it can be a third place.
And maybe he doesn't want to go anywhere. Maybe he.
Yeah, that's true. She could be more accommodating and say, hey, I'm gonna rent an Airbnb.
Me and the girls would like to do something. The
And somebody
girls
else
and I.
pointed out like pandemic stuff going on. It's true, she did just post this.
Oh, good point.
So,
thank you.
Yeah.
But you said we're not supposed to say that.
Okay, but we're far enough in. We're an hour in, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah,
The advertisers get mad if we say it, like especially in the first few minutes, but
Okay.
we should be fine.
During a germy time when a lot of us were in lockdown. Yeah.
And she's in Florida, right?
Oh God.
Somebody
I'm
said
sorry,
the
I
other
just
day-
moved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the penis of America.
Ooh, that's harsh. It's harsh.
But geographically it is though, like.
Yeah, I'm not, I don't know. I just think communication's a problem.
Communication.
Yeah, you wanna go somewhere, so talk to him. And also this, I'm the breadwinner. I don't know, and the other guy, it's my house, I'm the breadwinner, this, when you don't, I didn't say that when I went into a marriage, like,
That's a good point. She could have just said, we can easily afford it.
Yeah. Like, sometimes you go into a marriage and one person has a school loan and one person doesn't. Well, it's your school loan to pay off then once you're married. You knew that.
And it's like, wifey and I were talking about the income, and it's like, yes,
What are
one of us
we gonna
makes
do?
more than the other. But what are we gonna do about changes that have happened in the income this past year? You know?
What are we gonna do about it? So I don't like this. I'm the breadwinner, and I know I'm combining that with the other one's my house, and she's gonna burn down my house, and I'm the breadwinner, so I'm sending him to Disney. You're a team. You're a team.
You're a team.
And like my father told me, it's a team of horses, and if you're pulling in the same direction, good to go. If you're pulling against, it's just not
You're not
gonna
going to
work.
get anywhere.
You're not gonna get anywhere. So communication.
I think the breadwinner thing may have been due to that sub's tendency to assume that the guy pays the bills, and they might have accused her of dictating how her husband spent money. Okay, so that's fair.
That is a good point. That is a good point.
That is fair.
Because you're right. People do assume that.
I haven't noticed in particular on that sub, but yeah, people do for sure assume that. And
In real life.
And I have seen some like somewhat misogynistic commenters in that thread. I think the mods are pretty good about like the actual posts themselves, or people will call them out on it. But yeah, yeah, it's a thing.
I'm
so
sorry,
that
but
was
I'm not
the
really a
thing.
fan of this one.
Okay.
I'm just passing this information on. I didn't break anything.
That's the lemon pepper.
I'm just passing this information on. Because I would hate for somebody to just, out of all these, pick this and then say,
Yeah,
I don't
my
like it.
favorite was the basil and the thyme together.
I didn't do that, but that I would assume.
Is that an old English TV show? Let me know in the comments if you remember a show that's called Basil and Thyme.
I don't know. I just remember the song Parsley
No!
Parsley Sage, Rosemary and Thyme.
It's Rosemary and Thyme. There's a show that's called Rosemary and Thyme.
Cute.
And it's these two gardening ladies who
Oh,
like
how adorable.
solve crimes. It's
Oh, I
like
love that.
it's adorable.
I love
It
that.
is adorable.
What was the one British one where there was all the sisters and they all had flower names?
Keeping Up
Ro-
Appearances.
Yeah, I
The
love that.
hyacinth bouquet. Which they only mention it in like the pilot, but throughout the rest of the season, it's never mentioned again that her husband went by bucket before they
Oh
were
yeah,
married.
oh yeah. Oh, it's brought up a lot.
I remember it from the pilot, but it's like
Oh, it's all the
it's
time.
always like made a joke where it's like who would pronounce it, because she spells it all the time and it's spelled Bucket.
Yeah.
But I just remember in the pilot him being like, it was always pronounced bucket before I married you.
Yeah. Let's just say, this is Mrs. Bouquet.
Bouquet residence,
Yeah.
lady of the house,
I-
thank you.
I forgot that. And there's Hyacinth and Rose.
And Daisy.
Yeah. Okay.
Daisy's the sweet kind of frumpy one. She's my favorite.
Which is the one that lived in the house with a yard big enough for a horse.
Oh, I think
She lived in the country.
we never see her. They're always just it's big enough for a pony.
A pony. It's big enough for a pony.
Big enough for a
We
pony.
see her home.
I feel like we never see that sister. We just talk about her.
They talk about her. Yeah. But I do remember seeing her
She
home.
lives in the country with a yard big
Big enough for a pony.
a garden big enough for a
garden
pony.
big enough for a pony. So we got Rose, Hyacinth, and Daisy. If there's more, let us know. I feel that they're.
But Rosemary and Thyme, I think that's the name of it.
I like that. That's cute.
It's really cute. It's really
I
adorable.
like that.
So we're halfway through. Should we switch to our not sponsored segment?
Sure.
Okay.
No idea what you got?
I don't really have anything today, but I was telling you about our piggy bank. I'm gonna show you.
I don't know what she's up to. Piggy bank to go to Disney World.
So
Or Disneyland or Disney World? World.
Disney World, because Disneyland's in California. So Wifey and I were at the store, and there was this thing that was like it was like a piggy bank, but specifically for travel. And it's just a silly story, but we were looking at it, and I was like, this is probably like the only way that we'd be able to save up money to like go on a trip. So, and Wifey goes, well, what do you mean? I was like, well, I always tell you that like we need to save up money to go on a trip, but then we end up spending money. She's like, whatever. And then there was something else later on that she was like looking at. Oh, it was these really cute ladies' pajamas, which my wife is trans and has recently come out as trans, so like she's starting to like, and she doesn't have any girly pajamas. And I said, well, I think they were like $15 or whatever for the set. And I said, is that something that you'd be interested in? And she goes, well, hold on, I just found out that I need to be saving up for vacation.
Wait a minute, I just.
It was so cute. I was like, fair enough. So there was this thing, and it was like $15, and she's like, you don't need that. Like, and I was like, well, this is about the only way that we did, and it had like glass on the front. And I could tell that there was a way where you could indeed like unscrew it and take it apart. But she was like, well, how do you get the money out? And I was like, you gotta wait and save up and break the glass. I hope she's not in earshot, because I seriously think to this point she still thinks you had to break the glass.
Oh, I hated those piggy banks where you had to break them.
You have to save up. No, you didn't actually.
But there were piggy banks in the whole day.
Yeah. So
How would you know what's in there? That
She
I
was
just
like,
find it unmotivating.
we don't need it. Well, this one had glass on the front of it. You had to break the glass. No, you had to take it apart with a screwdriver.
I'm just saying I would like to. I think it's motivating to know how much is in there.
Yeah, you can see it fill up.
But you wouldn't really know until you count it out.
So
So
you guys have seen our big things that we have protein. And we both drink protein shakes every day, so we go through. Not
need
not
to
a small
talk to you
amount.
about that too. It looks vacation-y.
She decorated this. She got Hello Kitty stickers. I think she went to Five Below. And then, because the one thing was $15. And I was like, if you can do it for less than $15. And so I think it was probably like $10. Maybe. She got this. She knows I love sparkly stuff. This is heavier too. She's been putting money in here for sure. And then it's like Hello Kitty with like animals.
Oh, because it's Disney.
Because it's for vacation. So
Oh, okay.
she's like, this is for, when we go to Australia.
No,
and
please,
this
a
is
kangaroo on it.
And then she's like, this is me riding, and then she's like, this is me riding an elephant, and I can't remember where they all are. And then I was like, well, where's me? Because it's all Kitty. And she goes, well, you're holding the camera.
OMG. OMG.
So, today is sponsored by Make Your Own Piggy Bank, because it's more fun anyway, and then it's fun to put money in it.
I like
She
it.
actually did glue the lid on this, so I have no way of telling how much money is in here.
Is there a little slide?
There is. She's been.
It's in between
I'm
the
gonna
glitter.
tell you what she said, because it's not technically a bad word. She told me she bejazzled it.
Oh God. And I just touched it.
We touch it every time we put money in there.
Wow.
Which
It's a slot with
she's been putting money in here too.
good.
Good for her.
Yeah. I told you about the woman that did the piggy bank for her for the cigarettes when she didn't buy cigarettes,
Yeah.
and then she would have all these nice purses and stuff. And her husband's like, well, where'd you get? Because she worked, and where'd you get that? Well, that was the money that
She has a gym, by the way.
you smoked up yours with cigarettes. I didn't. I bought a nice purse or whatever.
Yeah.
So the piggy banks.
Yeah.
Very
They'd be very
motivating.
motivating, definitely.
I had a friend who kept her change. She would throw all her change in there. Like if she, broke with bills and ended up with 90 cents, it all went
Is
in.
this the same friend as the tortillas friend?
Yes.
Okay.
You know. See, we're getting to that point where I know the words you're gonna say before they come out your mouth. And she kind of could tell how much she would fill a mason jar, and then she'd bring it to the bank, and they, I don't know, she deposited it or
I remember because I remember when I learned about it, because it was back before online banking, and you actually wrote in your register and you had to keep track. And she would have two totals, and one was the actual total of her
That's
account.
a different person.
Oh, okay.
Well, go ahead.
But one was the actual total in the account, and one was the total minus that change amount, so that she could still do her
Right.
accounting, but she didn't actually see that number.
I think you're
Until, like, the end
confusing
of the
two
month.
people. The other,
Okay,
the
well,
oth-
let's combine them.
And the other, but they're both good things. This was once she put it in there, she forgot it. It was not part of her money anymore. It was in the jar.
Okay.
And it was just magical because it was the only way she could afford a trip. Yeah. She was
Lower income.
She was a single mom. She had 2 jobs and a deadbeat ex.
Yeah.
He wouldn't pay his child support, and if you try to get his child support, he just didn't work. So, and he works just for cash. So, you know,
I think unfortunately that is the
try
case.
getting
for-
money out of that, as y'all know. So, that was the only way she could save money for a trip, and it worked for her. Once she got married, she kept the jar. They didn't need to do it at that point. But she noticed when she'd bring the jar in, say before it was $50, I have no idea. Now all of a sudden it was $30.
Thank you for the follow.
And she's like, what's going on? Well, her hubs, that when she got married, he would take quarters out of it for the car wash. So it was filling with
But
lower, it wasn't filling with quarters. So that threw the ratio off. That's what she told me.
If you fill it with dimes, it's gonna
That's
be
the
the
way to
highest
go.
ratio.
That's the way to go.
Nickels?
And she probably had a lot of nickels and pennies in there when he took the quarters out.
Yeah.
But the other person is like, oh my gosh, so organized, and she will pay, okay, let's say she puts something on her charge card and the bill is $48.50. She subtracts that out of her checking account, even though it's on her credit card. She subtracts that out of her checking account. It's not there anymore. So then when the bill comes for the credit card, she's already
knows.
subtracted that money out. So she writes that check out.
It's already gone.
It's all balanced. She's super
That's-
super organized.
Some people are like super organized like that.
Yeah.
The other one is more for people who aren't organized.
They're both good options.
Also, in our not sponsored segment today, brought to you by just encouraging other people. This is like another just like weird side story that it happened. It was 5 seconds and it's gonna take me way longer to tell the story. But I was driving down the road today, come back from the grocery store, and
Early morning.
I saw this kid trying to fly a kite, and it was one of those with like the two-hand kite. It was, yeah, and it was, we call it dead man's curve here. So I got like a kind of a good view for a while. And at first I see the kite and I'm like, whoo, and it turned and crashed. And I saw his like, but he had it for a second, and then it like, and I saw like his whole body just kind of like slump. And it was early in the morning, so I was the only one on the road, and he like saw me coming, and I like gave him a thumbs up, and I could see his body, because it was like, you're learning it. And it was like, this kid was like young enough to where if he was still young enough where he could be like the world champion of kite flying, you know, or even if he never gets into kite flying, really, if he learns that, hey, you know, if I go back to this and I get better at it and like learns to overcome this one
Crash.
this one crash or this one obstacle of learning how to fly the two-handed kite, maybe that's going to serve him down the road to be like, hey, you know what, like maybe if I like try harder and you know, like Jake the dog says, sometimes sucking at something is the first step to being kind of good at it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's
So support. Give people some.
So, yeah.
Because you don't know what kind of crap they're going through, and it's like, oh well, that's just a little thing. I've been on the other end of that, and that is a big thing. You know,
yeah,
when you're
I have been in a place where it was like just a little bit of encouragement.
all it took. Like, okay, you're right. I can do this.
So sometimes it only takes 5 seconds, or even, you know, like 1 second to like hold up a thumbs up and be like, hey kid, you're getting it.
Yeah.
To like change, you know, and I don't know that necessarily changed his
I don't
whole
know.
outlook, but I could tell in that second it changed his body language, you know,
Yeah.
and like maybe it gave him a little bit of, you know, encouragement to try again. Maybe not, but it only took me a second.
Yes.
And I feel better having encouraged him.
Right.
You know what? I'm gonna
It's a
pull out
win.
Mother Teresa here. I do things for other people because it makes me feel good.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my opinion. All right.
I like that.
That's all I've got for not yet sponsored. Not yet sponsored, but if you do have a product that you would like to see featured in this segment, please feel free
Contact
to email
us.
me, opheliahartwig@gmail, and I will pass it along to my agent, i.e. my mom. All right, back to general chatting.
Okay.
We're gonna go, I guess, for Am I the Asshole? Oh yeah, we actually need to switch over to Am I the Asshole? Sorry, we're indoors. We went outdoors for a second there, but we're gonna go back
We're
over
back
to the
in.
apothecary.
There we got
Yeah.
our yummy caprese.
But it's, the one said was more of a Z sound.
Okay.
Caprese.
Praise.
Caprese.
I appreciate that.
That reminds me of a poem I read in Chicken Soup for the Soul about random smiles. Yeah, like random. They're infectious.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What is somebody, young woman, and this was before the medical situation in the world, but she was like, yeah, hugs are free, so why not give them out? And she was just so sweet and bubbly, Don't do that with strangers, maybe, but she was a long lost relative that I ran into happily. Smiles are free. Give them out.
Oh, I
It
should
can
put.
make a big difference in somebody's life.
So we're on to number 4.
We are.
This one is titled, "Am I the asshole for giving my brother's girlfriend a place to stay in secret from him?"
No, you're not.
Sounds like brother might be the asshole, just judging by the title, but we shall see.
You are not.
We've got several paragraphs to get through, so I'm just gonna
You hit it.
charge on.
I got my notes.
My older brother, who we're gonna call Nick, has always been troubled, but a few years ago he met a girl that I'll call Mia, who seemed to get him on the straight and narrow. I met up with Mia for dinner recently to catch up. She seemed anxious and upset. After a while, she opened up about how Nick was getting really jealous and controlling and was jeopardizing her ability to finish college. Ooh, red flag, red flag. Having issues
We don't have.
with her living in an apartment where she could be having other men over, having issues with her being in study groups and classes with mostly men and her engineering degree. He even contacted some of her professors behind her back because he did not want her on group projects with men.
OMG.
Like red siren flashing lights. Not just red flag. I mean, red flashing lights.
This is OMG. Contacted her professors.
My advice to her is that her education is the most important thing right now, that she should focus on her upcoming senior year, even if that means making it a priority over her relationship. She said she was worried she wouldn't be able to do that without angering him. He'd shown up unexpected and angry a few times to her apartment when she had to deal with them, she had to deal with him until he calmed down. She was missing deadlines. Ooh. She admitted she felt like she didn't want to be with him anymore, but was scared of what would happen if she broke up with him. He's paying for some of her school costs and she doesn't have family support. Plus, he wouldn't take it well, she thought, and she wouldn't feel comfortable staying in her apartment. I told her that she could stay with me for senior year, pay me below market rent, and use the savings to cover other expenses. The only thing I'd ask is that she doesn't tell Nick where she is living or that she is still going to the same college or anything like that, because I didn't want to deal with the drama of having him show up at my house with a bone to pick. Yes. She agreed and moved in as a roommate. She lost his number and locked down her social media, switched jobs and told her professor not to answer his emails and all that. Good girl.
Yep.
Pause for applause. But then my mom came to visit unannounced and saw an Amazon package in the driveway addressed to Mia. Woo!
Yeah, I knew how was she gonna keep this.
She found out I was roommates with her and how I helped her disappear on Nick. She was really upset with me because family comes first, and Nick has been spiraling after his girlfriend ghosted him with no explanation. And that was terrible for me to help her leave him without even a breakup or explaining. I said that he was hurting her chances at finishing college, and I felt like there were more important things than a boyfriend.
Good job, you!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hadn't she always told me to focus on school and my career and not get sidetracked by boys? ?
Yeah, Mom.
If she knew that that was the best for her own daughter, couldn't she see that the same was true for someone else's daughter? She said I was twisting her words.
I like this one.
That there's a difference between focusing on school and any relationship that was headed towards engagement with only a message saying to leave her alone. Am I the asshole for helping my brother's girlfriend leave him quietly? Hell no!
Hells to the no.
I didn't even need to hear my mom's answer to that. I know she's gonna say hell no.
And generally, I'm gonna say it's best to end a relationship.
Openly and honestly.
Yes. But troubled is Nick. And you could not have bigger red flags. It's like the one at the racetrack. I know that's maybe not.
Yeah, it's a checkered flag, but that's okay.
But there's also a yellow one. Okay. When they're like,
So Batania said initial judgment, probably not the asshole, and then definitely not the asshole. I'll help possibly prevent more violent abuse.
yeah,
At least for a time, yeah.
you were correct.
Yeah.
You are correct.
Absolutely agree.
When he contacted her professors,
Yeah.
no.
That
for
is
him
over the line.
And he thinks that's okay. Like to tell
Yeah.
I'm going to call your professors, I'm going to take care of this, and I'm going to explain to them that you cannot be trusted in a group of guys. So let me take care of this for you. Because I have a penis and you don't.
Right. That's, yeah.
So, yeah, no, he's troubled. And yeah.
I might need to take a potty break before.
Okay, we'll read it to you before you go.
Okay.
And you do go quick.
I am. I'm fast.
Yes.
That's a. Sabatania said that's an Olympic jump over the line. Yes.
A little bit jump. Yes, I like that.
All right.
I might steal that. Let me write that down. And I'm not even kidding.
Oh my gosh, I forgot this one was in here. It's perfectly timed. Number 5 is, am I the asshole for telling my husband to get off the toilet? Okay, I'm gonna try to read it quick because it's like 8 paragraphs. Oh god.
Paragraphs over the toilet. Okay.
Tonight my husband came home from work to a hot meal, a clean home, and a toddler that was pretty chill because we spent 3.5 hours doing the play date. I, on the other hand, am exhausted. I'm pregnant, just found out yesterday, so I'm not very far along still. Like, that's...
Yeah.
You're growing a child. That's exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had talks about how I might need some more help with our almost 3-year-old. His routine is to come home from work, eat dinner, poop for 20 minutes, and take 10 minutes to get changed. Today, I thought that I was exhausted emotionally and physically after chasing around 2 toddlers and interacting with my friend and her sister, who I just met because it was playdate. So I stepped outside with the dog for 5 minutes while my daughter finished eating. My husband went to poop and I came inside to watch the baby. 35 minutes later, after being rolled on and jumped on by a toddler, my toddler starts freaking out because she has to pee. She's potty trained, and my husband is still on the toilet. Toddlers aren't known for their ability to hold it, so I pick her up and take her to our downstairs bathroom.
Good. I was wondering if there was another option.
But the baby gate is shut, so I'm juggling the 35-year-old toddler, or 35-pound toddler. Sorry, wrong 2 letters. 35-pound toddler. I mean, we've all met 35-year-old toddlers. But this is not one of them. This is an actual toddler.
Okay.
And she's trying to open the gate, and she's screaming, I have to pee!
Mm-hmm.
I open the gate and rush down the stairs to get her on the potty. It's been 40 minutes at this point. I ask my husband what's going on, and he says he's having trouble.
Okay.
I tell him to get off the toilet because at this point, he's just going to give himself hemorrhoids. I'm trying not to laugh too hard because I really do have to pee.
I'm going to stick a pin in that, as you said.
He's been about 45 minutes on the toilet, and now he's mad at me. He's hardly talking to me.
He's hardly talking.
On the weekends, he spends about an hour to an hour and a half of the day on the toilet, usually in 3 to 4 trips. He's admitted that he stays longer than he actually needs to play on his phone. I've told him
Twitter time.
to see a doctor so many times. Yeah, Twitter time. So many times, if he actually has to go that much for that long, he refuses. He said it's normal for him. Meanwhile, I have IBS, and I don't spend nearly that much time on a toilet. So am I the asshole for telling him to literally shit or get off the pot? Editing for clarity, we have 2 bathrooms, one upstairs, one downstairs. My husband was using the one by the daughter's room is also the one that he was using. The one downstairs where she had to rush the toddler is the parents' bathroom because it's in the finished basement, set like off their room. So it's an ensuite to the basement.
Does he mean,
There's one.
I got it.
Regular upstairs toilet that's the kid's toilet that he's shitting in.
Yes.
And then
Because this was my answer to the whole problem.
there's an ensuite.
But when she says parents, she means her and her husband. She doesn't mean like her parents are staying.
Right. Yeah, no.
Okay. Grandma and grandpa live in the
Yeah, no, it's her.
Okay.
Edit number 2, I 100% don't mind to give him some time to relax after work and have said this to him. He does work hard and I do my best to respect that, but being pregnant again has me on the tired side, and if I need a hand or a minute to take a breath, I need him to be accessible in some way. And if this cuts into his break time, he can go back to it. There's about 2 to 2.5 hours between when he comes home and when our kid goes to bed, so he can have a quick decompress time and a longer one in a few hours.
It's a simple thing. He, in my opinion, he can have as much potty time as he wants, but use the downstairs toilet, which is their toilet anyway.
Yeah, use the less accessible toilet.
Use the less accessible toilet. If you're gonna be in there for that amount of time,
And you don't need to see a doctor.
be quick. And maybe he doesn't need to see a doctor. Maybe he's just relaxing, sitting on the toilet. I'm thinking, do it in the downstairs toilet. If it takes him that long, and yes, you are correct about if it's taking you that long, you're gonna get yourself hemorrhoids because, yeah. There was a book at the library, and I believe that was the name of it, hemorrhoids. And part of that was if you go in there and it's not working out right now, then stop and go do something else and go back later. Sitting there is just, you are correct. Sorry, that's a little personal information there, but that is the case. He is indeed going to give himself hemorrhoids if he sits there that long.
I am back. I'm adjusting my clothes just off camera.
So
Because
he needs, in my opinion, he needs to use downstairs toilet, and I'd let him have as much time as he wants, but maybe lay out some information to him about
my legs also go numb.
about sitting. Then when you're sitting on the toilet.
Mhm.
Good point.
Because it like cuts off the circulation. There's like a
Get him a little, and you don't have to buy a squatty potty. I know they could, if they would sponsor us, they're
Yeah.
nice, they are nice. But all you need is a little stool from the store, and you put that, and put your feet up on that, and it does make it a little easier. The way it moves your pelvis. It's a gravitational issue, I think.
And yes, you're right, Sabatanius. He does need to spend time with his kid.
Yes, he does. So, there's 2 hours from when he gets home and they go to bed. Yeah. Because I know somebody with kids that age. And I mean, he comes in and I think he comes in, takes his boots off, and then he is with those kids. Bam.
And maybe he needs to change, or I don't know what he does for work. So like
Yeah.
there might be, maybe 20 minutes, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Seems excessive.
20 minutes seems like probably the upper limit.
Yeah. I had a neighbor and, they both work. They were older, kids had left the house, but they had different hours.
Empty nesters.
Yes, empty nesters. She worked for a school, so she got home earlier. But when that man came home, it was phenomenal how quickly he walked in the house with his work clothes and walked out of the house with his,
Street clothes.
no, working in the yard clothes.
Mm.
He just I'm like, how did you do that? Did you strip on the way through and dress on the way back through? I mean, he was out of his clothes, and then he was out in that yard working, which I was probably his real, he probably enjoyed that. But I'm just saying, it doesn't need to take that long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I concur. I concur.
And it sounds like maybe he's using that as a little excuse.
I think, yeah, he's using the potty as an excuse. I can also spend like an excessive amount of time on the potty, but yeah, like she said, give you hemorrhoids,
Yeah.
make your legs go numb.
And some people do spend a lot of time in there, and you don't know. Well, they're married, so she should know if there's an issue.
So Virginia says that their mom is nearly 60 and it takes her 5 minutes to change after work.
Good job.
That's
Laura.
impressive.
That's impressive. Yeah,
That's impressive.
that's kind of how the neighbor. He was probably
Boom.
looking back, 60. And you know, how much time do you have to waste when you're 60? And
Was there something after the hand?
yeah, I just turned 60 this year, so it's a big one.
I thought you
And
were like that advisor that I had in high school.
you know,
Well, I was on mock trial in high school, and we had this lawyer advisor, and he was just like an odd bird.
yeah,
You remember who I'm talking about?
yeah.
And he had this habit of literally finishing a sentence, like an entire complete thought with, and it would be like, and what? And he would, but I think it was like he was tracking back in his mind to make sure that he covered everything, and he had. So we stopped talking. And I was just like,
We knew the person who would end every sentence with "and stuff."
oh my gosh.
You didn't know
No.
that? And stuff. It was just a nervous habit.
So Bettina said, happy 60 revolutions.
Thank you. That is true. But it did cause me
All the way
to,
around.
it has caused me to think, and to think, you know, no other birthday caused me to think that, to think how much time is there left, and
The first time?
yeah, kind of, even though, I mean, I've lived longer than my father did, I've lived longer than my father-in-law did, and both of those were momentous, but and it wasn't right away at 60, it was just after, but a few months, and I'm thinking, yeah, you know what, there's things I don't want to do, that I'm not going to do, and there's things I do want to do that I am going to do. Because I'm 60 now.
I'm in my mid-30s, and I have recently decided on the mantra that I want to live to be 100. And when there's like stuff that comes up where it's like, ooh, should I do that? Like, I want to live to be 100. And I also have like depression, so like there are times when it's like, I'm not gonna like go into like the thoughts and stuff that I have because I don't want to like trigger anybody, but I do have very negative thoughts. And like now I like tell myself like, okay, maybe I don't want to be alive tomorrow, but I do want to live to be 100. So I gotta be alive tomorrow to live to be 100.
Yeah. I like that. So I just gotta get through today. And
Thank you
then
for the follow.
just gotta get through today, and then we'll go on with our living to be 100. I like that. That was a hard one.
Thanks.
They need to have a heart-to-heart.
You ready for the last one?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Number 6 is called, am I the asshole for thinking my girlfriend should pay for her hotel when she chose to leave? Ooh, this is one where they're gonna give us initials. I kind of hate it when they give us initials, but it's okay. Yeah, because it's like just give me a name like Nick and Mia, like whatever. It's just
Easier to visualize?
yeah.
Okay.
My girlfriend S and I are 22 and have been living together for 6 years. Wow, that's pretty impressive. But like, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
S and Mom are cordial, but don't like each other. My mom thinks my girlfriend is snobby and brainwashed by her white saviors. Girlfriend is mixed and adopted. Girlfriend thinks my mom is neglectful and ignorant and made that clear when we were 16. It never fully recovered.
I am so friggin' confused.
Okay. They got together when they were 16.
Okay.
Been together for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Mom and girlfriend don't get along.
Yeah. I guess it's not important why. The whole privilege and all that, that's what lost me. And the mixed race and the white privilege and
I don't know. We'll see if it comes back up. And then
Okay.
we can go back to this if we need to.
okay.
Girlfriend and I live together 7 hours away from hometown.
Okay.
My fam has shown up 3 times uninvited. Whoa, 7 hours away.
7 hours away and they show up on, they just show up on the doorstep?
First time my mom was passing through the city and told me that morning, but I forgot. And so girlfriend ended up with a 13-minute warning. It could have been fine, but my mom made a comment that our apartment was dirty and girlfriend wasn't doing her job as a partner.
Oh God.
Ooh. Girlfriend did not take the high road and threw it in her face. That she was married for 20 years to an abusive alcoholic, and cooking and cleaning and working full time may have worked for her, but she wouldn't be damned, basically. Second time my sis showed up under the impression that we were expecting it, her mom basically thought it would be funny.
Whoa. This.
Second time, my sister showed up under the impression that we were expecting her. Mom basically thought it would be funny.
So mom said, I'll let him know you're coming.
I don't have any more information than those two sentences.
But that would make sense.
Yeah.
That would. Oh, mom might be the devil incarnate.
Third time, this was the one. I was 2 hours away and girlfriend was home. Mom sent a 15-minute text warning. Girlfriend decided not to answer. Mom sat in her car for 8 hours until I could make it back. I was fuming.
If he was 2 hours away, how did it take him 8 hours to get there?
He or she. Or they. Mom sat in her car for 8 hours until I could make it back because they were busy. They were 2 hours away and busy.
Okay.
I was fuming. My mom was wrong for just showing up, but leaving her stranded for 8 hours is messed up to me. Girlfriend bluntly said that she saw the text and chose to ignore it and then turned off her phone because we were irritating with us calling her. I told my mom that she can stay the night, and girlfriend opposed, saying that I should get her a hotel. I said girlfriend should be the one to leave, and she honestly did not hesitate. Ooh, now I have a $374 credit charge from her stay at a luxury hotel. You told her.
I'm finding a little too much humor in that.
Girlfriend and I made up until I saw the charge on my card. I said she needs to pay most of it since she chose to leave, and she said that's the cost of my mother's presence. The next time it will cost you a lease buyout.
Next time it'll cost you what?
A lease buyout. So I shouldn't complain. She was dead serious, so I paid it off.
A lease buyout.
Good you. I know what my mom did was wrong, but my girlfriend leaving her stranded for so long makes it worse to me. Am I the asshole for thinking she should pay? Edit, I'm sorry if I broke any rules, but this is a burner account of my friend. I'm only here for the judgment, and I really appreciate everyone's perspective. Yeah.
Okay.
The edit was not necessary, my friend.
Oh wow. See, I like the ones where I'm like.
S has been standing up to mom. Mom's a huge jerk. Yes. I don't like putting labels, but like, yeah, I think I agree.
I like the ones that are so clear cut. But this is like. Oh my god.
You know what I could do on these? I just realized.
What?
I could drop these onto the green screen so that we're in front of it when we're talking.
Oh, cool. Do that next week.
Okay.
Work on that.
Oh, we're gonna.
Because I can't.
I just have fun with it.
Good. That's great. Oh boy. And then and two, it's like so many places it could have been stopped. Gosh. She gave the husband a 13-minute warning.
Yeah, or the OP. We're gonna call them OP because we don't know their gender.
Okay. Or maybe the mom didn't even, I don't know. Yeah, it seems like mom maybe sent a group text. 8:15.
Yeah. So Bettina said, okay, OP is the jerk for telling her to leave, but it's not your girlfriend's job to host your mom unannounced.
Yeah.
She's not entitled to time. Yeah. I think mom is the one who's acting like the asshole here.
Mom is definitely an asshole. That's just acting like an asshole.
Also, here's kind of my thought on it, and tell me if I'm wrong in this.
Okay.
Y'all been together for 6 years. If like,
Shocker!
well, no, what I'm saying is
The
like,
moms didn't we know this?
they said they've been together for 6 years.
I know. I'm saying didn't we know the moms?
Yeah, no.
Behaves like an asshole. What?
Y'all have been together for 6 years. if $374 is the end of your relationship, like, you had other issues.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Like-
I'm like, you've been together 6 years. Do you not have?
Like, $374, like, between somebody who, like, you've been with for 6, it all comes out in the wash.
Well, and do they not? Of course, I knew a married couple that kept their money separate.
Yeah, it's like girlfriend, they're not married.
I just think,
No, I think that married couples should have separate bank accounts.
okay.
We have separate bank accounts. We have a joint account and we have separate accounts.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Well, why wouldn't this come out of the joint account then? Because
They're not married and maybe they don't
Maybe
have
they don't have a joint account.
And maybe they're not, maybe one of them isn't a responsible spender and they're not where they are okay with having a joint account.
Yeah. Did S
Yes.
S said, let's put Mom up in a hotel,
Yeah.
and then the
OP
the
said
poster.
you need to,
If
if
somebody's
anybody's
staying at a hotel, it's you.
Yeah.
But boy.
Yeah. They did say it all worked out and they stayed together. They're just miffed about the hotel bill. But like, and then $374 is a lot of money.
Yeah, that's
It is a lot of money.
and you got, what do you got to show for it?
Nothing.
Like, if you know what I'm saying, if you spent that on,
And at the point where Mom was there, I feel like in OP's defense, or in girlfriend's defense rather, OP could have said, Mom, if you want to stay here tonight, you can stay at a hotel.
he could have,
They could have. We don't know their gender.
but they did not.
Yeah.
They did not stand up to,
They could have just said, Mom, if you're staying in town for the night, you're staying in a hotel.
absolutely. But, and a lot of times there's that point where you have to, as a person in a relationship, sometimes you have
But
to
I
make
feel like
that,
at that point, because, yeah, they're saying how much would OP pay for their mom. I feel like at that point, it's on Mom to pay for it or go find another place to stay for the night.
Yeah.
If they only got like 15 minutes notice. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
Yeah,
off.
you're right. I mean, 7 hours away, I'm trying to, that's like my one son, right? Holy crap!
A little bit further.
Yeah, because he's about 6.
It's like if when I was in college, me in college to my older brothers.
I cannot fathom embarking on that trip without talking to them.
Without having a place set up that you're gonna stay, that you know that you're gonna stay. You know, like,
And you don't, you're gonna have to stay. You're not just gonna, I'm not gonna go there and say, hey, how you guys doing? Let's go to lunch, and then leave. You know you're spending a night if you drive that far.
yeah, it's like for me,
That
if I went
is-
to go visit my brother, I might say, hey, do you have a spare room that we can crash in? And if not, I know we can get a hotel, but like we have, you know, money saved up that we can get a hotel. So, like, I wouldn't do it
Exactly.
without having the option of getting a, like, if we didn't have money to get a hotel.
I would not get in the vehicle to start that trip without confirming that with them. That's crazy.
If you're depending on that for a place to stay.
Even that's just craziness.
I mean, I can see, like I was saying, because
That's
my
crazy.
brother lives in a city that has like a lot of amenities and stuff, and if I was going on vacation, that would maybe be a city that I would visit.
Mm-hmm.
And I have literally called my brother and said, I think I sent him a text message and said, hey, I'm on this side of the city, I don't know where your place is, but if you want to hang out or whatever. But I was not depending on him for a place to stay. And yes, it was 15 minutes notice.
But you weren't knocking on his door saying, I'm here to stay
Yeah.
with my bags. You were saying, I'm in town, you want to grab a bite.
Yeah, it's kind of abusive feeling, yeah. I think that OP's mom definitely, like, there's some issues there. And here's my suggestion. If y'all are in a position where you can afford therapy or get therapy through your insurance, absolutely. I think that anybody who can afford therapy should go to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe there are some issues with OP's mom that is like, there's some attachment issues where like they're saying, oh, mom can stay here, girlfriend who lives here
Can't.
can't. Like, you need to leave, like,
Yeah.
because, yeah, exactly. There might be some controlling issues.
And
there.
there's also making mom sit for 8 hours because mom didn't know. Like, if she would have known, okay, it's gonna be 8 hours, maybe she would have gone and done something. But she doesn't know, am I gonna get to go in the house now? She's wrong for showing up there.
Yeah, and if it was like, it became apparent that, like, girlfriend wasn't answering the door and OP was hours away, I feel like at that point it was on mom to, like, go find something to do till OP gets back or whatever. Like, why are you just sitting in the car? You've already been sitting in the car for 8 hours. You're gonna, like, spend your entire day in the car out of choice?
You're correct. Mom drove there. You're correct.
It says therapy has and continues to change my life. I agree. Therapy is a
And
good
how
deal. If you
much-
find the right therapist. And
Yes.
there are people who have like a bad experience with one
And
therapist.
they're like, therapists don't work. I
But
just butted in.
that's exactly what I was gonna say. It has a lot to do with the therapist. So if you are a person who has had a bad past experience with therapy, I encourage
Try
you
again.
try again with a different therapist.
And
And
I would,
sometimes a different gender helps. Sometimes just like a different
therapists
setting.
are so frigging different.
They're individual.
They're so individual. Absolutely. And yeah, I really encourage people to because, I went to therapy and it didn't work. You went to one therapist. No, not going to put me down, but they're so different.
I just encourage you to try again, if
Yeah.
you're in that.
And what, $375, how many therapy visits could that have covered?
Yeah, 370. It was 374. It took me a second because I was like,
Yeah.
my brain wanted to do 365, and then I was like,
No, 374. Yeah,
374.
Subtract one. And that, I don't know where she lives, but that for one night in a hotel? Or was it,
They said it was a luxury hotel.
what, do we know if it was 1 or 2 nights?
I think it was just one night. But I will say, from having my travel experience, that's even a nice hotel that's not a luxury hotel can sometimes run that.
If it's in a big city, yeah.
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know where they are.
I just wonder if she was like, because he wasn't, the original poster was not upset.
Especially if you don't have notice ahead of time. A lot of times, like that, if you're getting it for that night, it's more expensive than if you plan ahead and just.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. But if the original poster wasn't set until they saw the bill, but does the original poster know what a hotel costs?
We also don't know what their budget is. So $374 might be chump change, or it might be that's all of their savings that they had and they're gonna have to pay interest on a credit card and float it for a few months.
They're both 22, so I
think it's probably closer to the latter.
A chunk of money.
Yeah.
And I don't think mom is helping with any that we know. Boy, there's a
Somebody
lot.
said that they live in a tourist area and places with 1-star reviews, and bed bugs can sometimes cost hundreds during the summer. So yeah, we don't know.
Wow. Yeah,
We don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he does say luxury, or the original poster says luxury, so. And so maybe the wife was a little bit like, well, screw you, I'm gonna stay at the.
That's kind of what I got the impression.
I kind of, well, if I'm going to stay in a hotel, I'm staying at the Ritz-Carlton.
I kind of got that impression too. That like there maybe was a Motel 6 available that she chose not to stay at.
But I cannot hold that against her. But
Nope.
but then it's like who pays for it? But oh my gosh.
Yeah, see, if it was me and wifey, I would be like, yeah, I'm staying at the Ritz-Carlton. But also we have like combined finances, so we would both be paying for it.
It's coming out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't blame her either. Yeah.
Yeah. Mom is the biggest asshole. Or what?
Mom made the biggest asshole moves here.
Mom made the biggest asshole moves. Original poster, I'm sorry for both of you. You're 22 and you do realize at age 60 that you can let more things go. I mean, I know things.
Let it go.
Let it go.
That's all we're gonna sing because copyright.
I got a video of your nephew with a karaoke machine at a party singing that.
My nephew's He's awesome. You guys
He's
know
just
this.
belting it out, and yeah, it's hilarious. So there are things at 60 that I will let go, they just slide off, that I did not at 22. I can think of a lot of things at 22 that I was like a dog with a bone, and I was not gonna let go of it. And it didn't, you know, it did. If I can give any advice to my younger self,
Okay.
let it go.
Let it go.
What does it matter? But original poster, it might get to the point, and I know 2 for sure, people that had to do this, is there had to be a choice between mom or partner.
I
Now,
can think of one person off the top of my head, but but I don't even know if that's one of the people you're talking about. I feel like there are a lot of people who end up in that situation.
the 2 people I know about, well, it worked out later, but they had to lay down the line.
And say, Mom, this is my partner.
This is my partner. This is the person I've chosen to be with. If you cannot deal appropriately or politely, whatever, with my partner and I, then we're not inviting you into this relationship at this point in time.
Or, hey, this is what our boundaries are, this is what we need from you. Like, there just needs to be some type of communication. I remember, and this is, I don't mean to air our dirty laundry, but there was,
Just be careful.
me and wifey's wedding, 2020, okay, 2020 happened. And we had already made the commitment that, like, we were going to be married, like, we had been engaged for quite a while, and there was a time when I had to, like, say to you, like, hey, I realize that, like, we haven't signed the documents, that we're not married yet, but I need you to treat my spouse with the same respect that you treat my brother's spouses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it, like I said, because of it, and I understand how it maybe took that for it to click, but we had that conversation, and you were like, yeah, you're right. Like, you were thinking of wifey as like a girlfriend, but we had made the commitment at that point to spend the rest of our lives together, and just because lockdown happened and we weren't
And
able
there
to
was
sign.
a ceremony and papers, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and you're right, it might just be as simple as that. It might just be, we need you to give us notice before you show up on our doorstep. That might,
This is what we need from you.
yeah, because the ones I know of, they cut off complete, but I think they tried and Mama just wasn't having it, and then they said, okay, Mom, that's, we're gonna have to cut off.
And you gotta have that conversation first. You can't just not to say that the girlfriend was wrong in the one where she just disappeared, because that was just, but I feel like if you're at the point where you can communicate with your parents, I can't just be like, well, I'm not talking to you anymore, and then, like, you gotta figure out why.
Oh, yeah, no.
Like, that's not.
Yeah, no, the people I know, it was like, they tried to work it out, Mom was like, too bad, I'm just doing it my way, and they said, okay, but then we're gonna have to cut off communication with you, and then and it's awkward, because then the rest of the family communicates, blah, blah, but then Mom came back and was like, maybe you didn't get an apology, but you got changed behavior from that, and
That's something.
and it's bad that it has to come to that. But just saying, Mom, this is the boundary we have.
Yeah, I concur.
And, yep,
I'm gonna switch back to the general chatting screen.
okay.
So we're gonna actually head back outside and
And
Independence.
fresh air.
Let's go get some fresh air.
Sit in the sand?
Yeah. Well,
No,
we have chairs. They
We
can
do
share
have
chairs
chairs.
because they're not green.
we have nice chairs.
They're white. They're pretty.
They match our apron.
Yeah. And I am wearing a black shirt. I couldn't find an all black shirt today, but I will just remind everybody that indeed
You do,
you have the right to vote.
absolutely,
Election protection, yo.
absolutely. Agree.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I just will say, because I thought 2 weeks ago that the whole theme of every one of these was communication, and then last week it kind of threw me off but I'm back to communication.
Communication. So for next week, I'm gonna ask you this on stream so that everybody will like have proof of what your answer is. I was wondering if maybe you wanted to like help me like cut my hair. You wanna cut my hair?
No.
Okay.
on.
Yeah, I just want the top part. The top part's so long, and I want to cut it into like a bob because I do have the back grown out now, and I do kind of like the mullet look, but like it's so long up top that like I always just do like a top knot, and I can never like fully show off my mullet, even when I do have the sides shaved.
I'm not saying it makes me very nervous just even thinking.
Oh, okay. I was thinking if I just like took it all down and you just chopped it all at one length.
That might happen, but I'm not going to commit to that right now
Okay.
because I need to.
So tune in next week to find out.
And there would also need to be, what do we call it? Boundaries, like you can't rag on it after I do it,
No.
you know.
No, ask wifey. I'm like the best about getting my hair cut. Like, however, it can be like shaved on one side, and it's fine. Don't go back. It's fine. That's actually part of my problem, like with why I haven't like found a good like hairdresser to go to. Is because
You're just like, okay,
it's fine. And then I'm like, it's not really, but like I'm not gonna say anything because I don't really care that much.
And yeah, you know, would have been your great aunt.
Oh, I know that story.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the only bad haircut I've had is when I first started with it. I asked for like halfway between like a mohawk and a mullet is what I want. That's what I'm going for. And they gave me an undercut, which means that they shaved the back. Like all of this, they shaved it. And I was like, you can't unshave something. So it like took me like a year to grow the back out.
Unshaves.
You can't unshave it. And like, what do you say at that point when she like goes in and she's got one side done? It's like, I'm not gonna leave it. It's like, go ahead. You're doing an undercut.
I'm not unshaving it. For some reason, that makes me think of somebody that they volunteered at a animal rescue, and so they would spay and neuter the animals, but they only had, apparently, what I was told was one size shaver, and so the cats would just be like the whole underbelly was just, where it would be suitable for Labrador.
Yep.
The shavers.
There's just one shaver.
Yeah, that was
One clipper.
I would think you'd go with a smaller clipper instead of a bigger one. It was like,
No, because you want to get it done quick.
and you gotta, yeah, I guess it helps you keep costs down.
Done.
But that kitty just, that kitty had a big old shave belly.
It's okay.
Yeah. Because you can't unshave it.
You can't shave it. Also, cat hair grows back fast.
That's
Do you remember when Kitten had the IV in the one leg and they shaped like a band?
Oh, yeah.
And it looked, he was an orange, fluffy orange cat.
cute.
And he had like an Ugg boot.
Yeah.
It
He
was
had
like one Ugg
he had his
boot.
little boot. Yeah.
Which he did like to get shaved pretty regularly. He was a weird cat. He liked baths and he liked to get shaved. And he was a long hair, but I think that he was just like,
Yeah.
it was so much high maintenance.
Yeah.
That it was just like, oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Like,
even he would, he just kind of.
when it would get long, he would just like, and he would like get tired
Yeah.
while he was cleaning himself. He'd just be like, oh my god, I'm just always cleaning myself. And then whenever we would shave him, he would get like hyper and he would like have so much energy. He's like, yay, I have so much energy and time to do stuff because I'm not constantly cleaning myself.
Because I had two cats, one as a child and one as an adult, and I remember the one, somebody like, it was trying to go out the door, and somebody, I was like, yeah, we can go out, and they're like, oh, but it's so clean, I didn't know, you know, they do keep themselves clean, but never have I seen one with as much fluff as that cat had.
He had,
What was
we used to call it his pelt.
Yes!
Because
But
he was
was
like
it-
a
but-
beaver pelt. Like,
I mean, the two cats that I had, or cats that I've been around, they just had hair, but this one, it was like Was it different layers of hair?
It must have been like part Persian or something, because yeah, he had the long outer coat, and then he had like a thick undercoat.
Yeah.
It was just like, it was like cotton fuzz.
It was.
And he would clean, whenever that would fall out, it would like build up in there, and he would clean it out.
Yeah. It was, you're right.
Sweet little boy.
You're right. He was like, I got time to do other things. Yeah. I can chase a ball and that little dead mouse toy they got now because I'm not.
Yeah, he was.
It was a job.
Climbed some trees.
Yeah.
He was also a declawed cat that would climb trees. He was he was an adopted cat.
You did not do it.
But his previous owner had him declawed, and it did not stop him from climbing trees.
No.
It did. One time he got like kind of stuck in a tree. I think that he climbed further than he was comfortable climbing back down. Now he's just front declawed. He still had back claws.
Yes. Yeah.
But at one time, I remember one time, and I think it must have been something that he had gotten chased up there, because I was like looking around for him forever, and then I heard him like meow, and I'm like looking around, and he was up there, and I was like, oh, okay. And he actually was kind of able to get down once I like assisted him.
Mm-hmm.
He probably would have been okay, but he was a little bit of a
Prima donna.
he was a little bit of a pussycat. Oh, I'm missing messages. I'm sorry.
Quite the pussycat.
It takes longer than you think to make it even. That's true.
To
To make it even.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. You don't
Savage Mama's got a story about
you don't
this.
just whack it off once. The great aunt story.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Oh, by the way, the reason why this sometimes looks orange and sometimes looks brown.
oh no.
I'm just gonna do it then because it's this color. Okay, look, see, it's brown when it's in front of the white. See, it's brown.
Yeah.
I don't have an all black shirt, but see, it's orange when it's in front of black. It's the same color.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I just get browner there. Yeah, okay.
It's orange and then it's brown.
Okay. Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. They're the same color.
Do you think somebody was really stressing over that? But it's clarified now.
Sorry.
It's okay.
There were comments on it because I called it
Really?
brown, and somebody was like, "That's orange, not brown."
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, "It's the
I
same color."
said corrected then. I said corrected. So my great aunt and great uncle, and he was born in he was born in 1900.
I think so. Yeah, he was born in the turn of the century.
Yeah, 1889.
Last
Yeah, the
century.
last one. 1899, I believe he was born. And then my grandfather, they were like, I think one was born in 1899 and one was born in 19. Anyway.
Because it was like back when moms would have kids every like 10 to 12 months.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. They weren't sibs. I was just saying, they were
cousins?
They were brother-in-laws.
Brothers-in-law.
But in brothers-in-law. But in my mind, I was like, yeah, they were the same age, but I can't tell you which was which. So they were just that age. They were. This couple, they were adventurous ones. And so they were, so the first one was, her family said she could not cut her hair until she was married. That was the rule.
So it was just a terminal length all the time, which is just wild to me.
Yeah. Well, or it had to be long. I don't know. Was it? Yeah, I guess it was terminal. I don't know.
Mine's almost at its terminal length.
I think mine almost is too. So that was just the rule. Until you're married, you live in our house. Our rules for your hair, I don't know.
You had a rule about not dyeing my hair when I was a kid.
I think the difference wasn't until you're married. But times were different.
But I did dye it when I went away to college without asking you guys.
Because you weren't under our roof.
Because I wasn't under your roof. I literally remember saying what are they gonna say?
What are they gonna say? Yeah. And so
they could say we're not paying for your college anymore.
Or that hair dye. So my understanding, it might have been like the second day of the marriage.
I thought it was like the day after their honeymoon.
Probably, yeah, if they had honeymoon.
If it's the story I remember.
Yeah. So she's married now, and damn it, she can get her hair cut. And so she tells her spouse, cut my hair. And lays the scissors down for him to pick up and cut her hair. And she said, well, what about here? You know, little bob. And so, and knowing my great uncle, I believe this completely. So he starts on the one side and cuts her hair. When he got to the other side, he saw here.
Was it really all the way up here?
It
Because like the bottom, it had to be like here, right?
me. Well,
So it's probably like here.
yeah, because the
Well, do you
reason I believe it is I saw pictures. Because they
You saw pictures after it got cleaned up, though, right? You didn't see the pictures with one.
No, I didn't. You're right. I didn't see that. But I saw pictures of. They were so adventurous that they lived in the Midwest and they were going to move to California, and so
People don't do that actually around here,
you
especially not back then.
in a Model T. You don't really do that.
Yeah, no.
In a Model T.
It's still relatively uncommon. Like we have that one friend, and you know who I'm talking about. I love you, ACT boy.
But you don't just move any. You don't just like throw your stuff in the I mean, what?
Yeah, exactly.
It was like not even a. I mean, it broke down. It was a Model T.
Yes, what I'm saying is that they turned it up to 11 on the adventure scale.
Yeah, yeah, because they didn't know, and somebody's father-in-law went with them, but was a widower, and was like, yeah, let's move to California. Let's go. Let's go. So loaded up the truck, and then I saw pictures. There were a few because I don't think there were a lot of possibilities for cameras around then, but there was a chicken coop on the top of the Model T. I was told that was for eggs and meat along the way, but probably mostly eggs because
I feel bad for those chickens in the wind, though.
maybe they put something up, a little protector.
Maybe.
Yeah, because that would. But how fast were they going? They were in a Model T.
But also, like, it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't, because I feel like the way that livestock was treated back then was not, they weren't considered, like, animals, even though, like...
I agree, but this uncle...
Not him. Okay.
OMG. He fed the horses 3 times a day.
Oh, he's that uncle.
And my father said, why do you have to feed the horses 3 times a day? When 2 times a day would be enough?
This is what I said when you asked me about my dog.
And my uncle looks at my dad and says, George, how many times do you eat a day? Well, enough of that. Also, this uncle had barn cats, and those kittens got bread and milk in a little tray every day, and I mean...
Okay, you gotta treat the barn cats nice, though, because...
They eat mice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he did.
And otherwise they just become stray cats for somebody else.
They would also follow him to his lake, and he would, so when he...
The cats would follow him to the lake?
Mhm. Because
The property that I'm thinking of.
Yeah, because he'd give them the fish. If they weren't the size he wanted.
Fling them up in the...
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, so the cats would go down to the lake. So this man took care of animals, so I think he would have taken
That's
care
like
of those.
like a 20-acre property. That's...
Yeah.
That's a waste.
Yeah. But I saw pictures on the way out to and they got to California, and the father-in-law got to the ocean and saw the ocean and just wasn't what he had expected. Didn't want to live there anymore. So
Not into it.
come on back. But
And a friggin' Model T.
yeah, and I saw a couple.
He came back in the Model T.
They had all come back together.
I wonder, like, I would have like a tally sheet for how many tires I changed on the way.
Yeah. And that uncle also then ended up owning a car repair. Or what do you call it?
Well, why wouldn't you at that point?
At that point,
you've
you've
gone
learned how to do it.
8,000 miles in a Model T.
Yeah, you've learned how to do that. It was a gas station, but then also was repairs. That
Oh,
was the thing.
it was a full service station?
It was a full service station, and they did repairs. And he did very well because there was a very large, like the largest employer in the city was a block away. So they would he got a good reputation, and then they would just drop off their car, go to work,
And
walk
then
back, and the car was repaired, or the oil change or whatever. So he did quite well.
I worked in a shopping mall for a while with I think it was a Napa that was in the shopping mall, and it was great. I could drop off my car for an oil change when I went into work. It was when I was working 80 hours a week and did not have time to like
Right.
take my car and
Yeah.
anywhere. And I would come in early, and I luckily knew the guys, and they would fill out the paperwork for me ahead of time. And then I would get somebody to like cover a part-timer for like 15 minutes while I ran down and filled out, signed everything, and ran my credit card.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just left it there in the parking lot because it was just on the other side of the mall when I
Yeah, that's great.
got off work. so.
Yeah. I did see a couple pictures they took, and it was somewhere along the way where there were huge boulders, and yeah, it was very cool looking.
Garden of the Gods?
Don't know. And because they were deceased by the time I got the photos.
Yeah,
and,
but like
and my
the boulders still look the same.
I'll show them to you and you can see.
Okay.
And in the one photo, my great uncle has a leather jacket on, and he looks very dapper by his Model T. But in the one photo, they're all sitting around eating. For some reason, was there a photo of that? And this one person is just really chomping down, and I'm like, well, who's that guy? And because I wasn't able to add them all up, and they said that's my aunt. That was my aunt.
Oh, well.
So she did have the hair very short. That's why I got off on that whole thing.
Oh, well.
When he cut the hair, started here.
I mean,
It grew out.
It
It grew out.
Also, if that was like in the 30s, like in a couple of years, that would be really fashionable.
You're right. You're right.
She was ahead of the curve.
You're right. You're right, because her sister, my grandmother, was the snappy, stylish one. I mean, until the day she had pantsuits that Elvis would have been like, a little too much sparkle in there.
Like Elton John would have worn them.
Oh yeah, because they go out to Vegas, and
I've never been.
and
But he
my
wants to go.
and my grandfather was retired at the time, and so he's like, oh, well, if we're going to Vegas, we're not gonna fly up and then back. We're gonna stay for a month.
I like his style.
Would, of course. And then I didn't know till later. Then when they come back, we'd always say, "Oh, did you win any money? Did you make any money? Or you win any money?" And then I found out many years later that he deducted the whole trip off of that.
Yeah, you told
Yeah.
me.
So if he made money, that meant the whole trip was paid for.
Did they just like play penny slots the whole time? Like, what did they?
No.
How did they make money
No,
gambling?
they did. They knew it was cards. And,
Oh, he counted cards.
Yeah, he knew. Well, and there was something where he put. I don't know all of it, but
It's not technically illegal.
I don't know. There was something where you pick numbers and.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
Keno?
I don't know what it is. Because sometimes they'd have us pick the number. They would bring the Keno sheet home, and then we could fill out the numbers, and then they would take it and
Play it
for us. I never got anything back from that. But also those were in the days. I don't. Maybe they still do it. But they would comp. The companies would comp. So they would comp them. To stay at a hotel and food and.
Oh yeah, I've heard
They
about
got a
that.
lot
People
of
who
stuff
spend
on.
money. You can read it if you want.
I asked my grandma, who were those girls one time? It was my dad and two of his brothers. Yeah, they would put them in the dresses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got those pictures too.
Yeah.
So, but,
I think it was traditional in a lot of places just to put small children in dresses.
yeah.
Like it wasn't like considered girl clothes like it is now. It was just, and I think for changing and stuff, it's convenient.
Even with with the oldest child, there were those ones that I think they changed them to elastic at the bottom. It used to be a string, and you tie it, and then I think it was a choking hazard. But it was just like a t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt, and then it just kept on going. And then so you just, time to change them, pull that up, change them, pull it back down.
Nice.
Yeah, because they were infant. They weren't crawling or rolling or nothing. They were just stayed where you put
Well,
them.
in other parts
In
of
those
the
very
world,
early days.
in other parts of the world, like they don't put kids in nappies, and it's
Yes,
like
right.
they learn from a very young age to like basically tell their parents whenever they need to go, and they plop them down and they do the business.
And I think the parents are
More in tune.
and tune it. Ooh, I think you need to do that
He's
now.
squirming around like he might need to.
Mhm, yeah. Yeah, there are, you're right, a lot of countries I've seen where the, not a lot, but, where
It's just like a tunic.
I've seen somewhere it's like a folded over there.
Oh yeah, I've seen
So when they
those too.
squat it, well, I won't do that. But when they squat, then it opens up.
Yeah, it's like they have like legs, but it's almost like
Crotchless.
I was gonna say it's like chaps, but with a butt.
You know?
It's like chaps with an ass because there's no such thing as assless chaps. All chaps are assless.
It's something when they put them down, then it was like they could go, but yeah.
Oh wow! And she said no, they had long hair and they were in their teens and the late 70s. They were into hair bands. I love it. Or maybe they were into hair bands.
I love that. I like that better. Yeah.
That's even better.
Yeah, she's a different generation. I like that better. That's cool. Where are those girls? There's your dad and your uncles.
That's, I wonder if they had like the tight bell bottoms where they're like super tight at the top and then they're like
Yeah.
flannel shirt.
No, they were the plaid shirts with the snaps.
Oh,
Those were
that's right.
Those
yeah.
were a big thing. Yeah. Those
Yeah,
were-
the flannels didn't come around till later.
Yeah, but they were plaid, and they had the
That's what I
snaps,
see.
and I think they also had like the yoke. They're kind of westerny looking, at least in this.
And I've seen women in those too.
Yeah.
So yeah. Especially if they're like cinched in at the waist.
They was a
stuff.
thing.
Yeah.
They was a thing. Yeah, but and then I'll be finished. But grandmother, the snazzy one, she did. There were photos of her with that haircut, and she was like a flapper. I mean, she
She
looked,
dressed like a flapper.
She looked like a flapper. I don't think she. Yeah,
We don't know if she was a flapper.
we don't know.
I don't think that was
But
something
then
that you, like, put on
later,
blast.
when they would go out to Vegas, she had her, and she had, and I was.
I
very-
feel like flappers didn't put it on blast if they were a flapper, like to their family necessarily.
Good call. So yeah,
We don't know.
we don't know, but I got a picture where she's
She's dressed like a flapper.
you say flapper, and then you see this picture, and those two add up. But
Ooh, bell bottoms with half-inch zippers. Hell yeah!
oh really? Zippers. Well, that's nice. That's nice. Yeah.
Fashion is awesome.
Yeah.
Wifey's been watching a lot of Clever Style lately, and I like a lot of these outfits would never wear myself, but like I think that they're awesome. And I don't mean like I would never wear them as in like I'm judging these women who are wearing them. It's just it wouldn't necessarily be something that I am comfortable in. But it's like we were talking about Jimmy's video with his Magic Mormon underpants, and he was like talking about like, oh, Mormon women like can't enjoy fashion, and like I don't necessarily know that that's the case. Like, I certainly think that if they wear their temple garments, that they have to take that into consideration, obviously. But like, what I wear normally would like cover temple undergarments.
Oh, I know a woman that was a Mormon, and she wore a lot less clothes than you.
And she wore her temple undergarments.
Yes, she
I
did.
know that because
I
one
believe
time
it was
I did
just.
see
I think
them.
it was just right here, maybe.
Yeah, if you
The
see
sleeve
pictures,
was covered, but it was not.
we'll show you a picture.
Yeah, and yeah.
Let's see.
So yep. That's
just
right.
like a little cap sleeve.
That's right where the sleeve went.
Well, they're all the same.
Yep.
They've been all the same, exactly like.
Well, I'm just
since the
saying that, but her
1960s.
the thing over it was just like that.
Because she knew exactly where that line was.
She knew where it was.
Yeah. Now
And-
this I wonder about because they're supposed to be the closest garment to the body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just not my style exactly. For women who wear bras,
Mm-hmm.
like I,
That's closer to your body. Is that what you're saying?
they can't. Like how do you? And you'd have to wear a bra over it. They're not allowed to wear a bra under it. They're not allowed to wear
Oh.
anything under it.
I don't know.
And it does have like
don't know.
like cups and pleats, but like you can't wear a bra over that, can you? Maybe they come in cup sizes. Do they come in cup sizes? Maybe.
Maybe somebody could let us know if they know.
Yeah, if you know, I know I have
I
some
don't.
ex-Mormon followers.
I don't know.
Because
I never
was
thought
told,
about the bra.
I was told the other day that you cannot wear a bra under it, that you can wear a bra over it.
Wow.
But my question is, like,
That would be kind of bunchy.
well, for somebody like us who's large-chested, it would be the opposite of bunchy. It would be, like, pulling, like,
Yeah.
But for like somebody who's flat chested, it might be just butt shape.
And if somebody knows this, please
Tell me
answer.
if you know.
But I
don't have a picture that I can
thought
bring
I
up.
heard somewhere that, I know I read this, but maybe it was just some people are more by the
Conservative.
rules, yeah. Because I knew there were some that they didn't have to wear them, but they had to wear clothes that if they had them on would be covered.
I think
That was the limit, right? There was the limit.
my understanding from wifey's upbringing, she was raised Mormon, is that was standard dress code for even children. Now I think there's some exceptions if you're like going to the beach or something like that. But that is, and then once you do your temple endowment ceremony, that's when you get your temple garments.
Well, there must be different rules then because we knew the family and the kid was at our house all the time and always in the tank top things. And when he hit a certain age, that was it, and he couldn't wear them anymore. And I was never a fan of the tank top things on the kids, but I was like, well, if I knew my kid could only wear them
Maybe
until he
it was-
was 14 or whatever, or 12, 10, I don't know. Wear that tank top thing. Maybe you don't call them tank tops
We still call them tank tops.
on a boy.
Yeah.
Muscle shirts.
Oh yeah.
That's what they
another
were.
word.
That's what they were, muscle shirts. But he was a little boy and he always wore those.
I was looking for that word the other day because I was like, it's
wider here.
well, because we call it a vest. Like, well, okay, people who are overseas call it a vest, and I have one that people tease me because it's a hooded vest, and or it's a muscle shirt with a hood. Is what it is.
It is.
I love it. I love it.
There are, it fulfills some
But maybe once
needs
they,
that I didn't even know were there.
yeah,
Like you've got pockets.
You got pockets. You can disappear from the world and not get overheated.
And you're not overheated, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, First
Hooded vest is great. I love it. If you have like social anxiety, hooded vest, awesome.
Yeah, I was surprised, yeah.
But yeah,
So I don't know.
maybe once he reached the age
Yes.
of
That's when,
this temple endowment ceremony or whatever.
that's when it happened. But before then, for him
See,
anyway.
and I could just be wrong about that and miss, because she only gives me like we've never like sat down and I've said, hey, tell me about this. It's just like little pieces that I get, which is one of the reasons why I do really like Jenny's channel, is because it gives me information about her upbringing that she's maybe not comfortable talking about. You
Well,
know?
and
Not that I'm suggesting Jimmy's channel for anybody, you know, there's all that drama, but whatever. I'm not gonna link it.
And your brother had a friend, and she was interesting because she was kind of away from the church and back, and but she was at the house a lot. And I checked with her because I know some of my children were like, Mom, you're being a little pushy, questioning me. But I'm just curious. But
She was very open though.
yes, but I'm just saying in general, with friends would come over and I'd ask them stuff. And they're like, please don't ask that, Mom. I was just curious about things. But this particular one, I did have that conversation with her. Is it okay? Could we talk? And she's like, oh, sure.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, what's with the caffeine and what's with the soda and what's with the and she clarified and a lot of stuff.
And I think that is different for different. They have like a term for Jews is like a la carte Jews when they like choose which, but I don't know if there's like a word for.
Yeah. But she would.
That's no offense to any Jewish people. I just like
no.
that's a term that I'm familiar with.
Yeah, and they would. It's like everybody cheat a little bit now because she said her, and then the other woman she nannied for a lady, and so
Are you giving enough information that like people from her temple might be able to like snitch on her? Because I don't. I'm just, if it's somebody who's watching who knows us, they might be able to figure out who that family is.
Okay.
And if it's something about her cheating a little bit, like, we don't want to get her in trouble with the
Yeah.
temple.
And good call. But I did have questions because I was confused, and I heard it from our son's friend who was a little boy. So his interpretation of it,
It's like my interpretation through
it wasn't
listening to
adding
Wifey.
up.
It's not.
I was like, but why can you do that and you can't do that? And he'd give me a reason, but
Sometimes the reason doesn't make any sense though.
but
because-
he had the wrong reason.
Okay.
He filtered it in his little boy head, and thought that.
Well, sometimes that makes more sense than what the religion has to say anyway.
Well, I remember the one thing on Sundays. Something he couldn't do. He said, we can't go to the movies because it's fun. We can't do fun stuff on Sunday.
Oh, but
Yeah.
they couldn't go someplace where someone else was working.
That's what it was. He said, we can't do fun stuff on Sundays. And so he was coming over to our house. I'm like, well,
That's fun stuff.
well, and a swimming pool at the time was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Can you swim? I don't want to, He goes, oh yeah, we can do that. I go, but you can't go to the movie because
And you can't go to the public pool.
But I didn't know that part, and I didn't know about the pool. But I said, you
okay.
can't go to the movie, because we couldn't bring him to the movie that day. He couldn't go to the movie. But he could come over to our house and swim. And I was like, but the pool, he goes, well, the movie's fun. I'm like, but the pool's fun. He goes, well, big fun. You can't do big fun on Sunday. That was his little boy thing. And then I learned that you don't work on Sunday, and you respect that so much that you don't do something that forces somebody else to work on Sunday, which I appreciate.
And wifey's, my mother-in-law is still like that. She has separated from her temple for the most part. She still has friends there, and I think that the temple is maybe a little bit more lax than some other temples. But she's still like that she doesn't like to go shopping on a Sunday because the stalkers and the cashiers and everybody has to work on Sunday. And it's like, I feel like it's kind of the same mentality that you and I have with like eating meat.
Exactly.
That it's like, I know that like my
Exactly.
eating meat isn't gonna like stop the entire meat industry. But like if we all went vegetarian, yeah, the meat industry would cease to exist. And if everybody,
I didn't think you were going to go there.
if everybody stopped shopping on Sundays, then everybody would have Sunday off.
See, my thought on it was putting your money where your mouth is. Like I respect who's the one, the rock guy, that he's like, oh, sure, Ted Newton.
We don't respect Ted Nugent, but I do
No,
respect his rule about you kill it, you eat it.
Yeah, I'm just saying people that have that, and I respected this idea that if indeed you think keeping the Sabbath sacred is not working, then don't be going somewhere where somebody has to work. If that's important to you, that seems.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to work on Sunday, but I'm going to go to the grocery store. Well, those people are working.
And Simultaneous has a point that like Jewish people rest on Saturday and not Sunday, so
Right.
it wouldn't work. And
Yeah.
said that they've never heard the term a la carte Jew. It just refers to like somebody who like they follow the mitzvot
I never heard of it either.
that they feel really.
No.
They follow like the mitzvot that they like feel like that there's reason for following, and they don't follow. Like if they don't feel like there's still a reason to follow it, then they don't still follow it.
Well, maybe a lot of religions are like that.
Yes, it's just that's I've heard the term a la carte Jew, and I've never heard the term a la carte Mormon. I just like or a la carte Christian.
Catholic.
Oh, well, I bet there are some a la carte Catholics because they've got a bunch of rules too,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
lists of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it refers to. Like there's a list,
And then there's your list.
and then they pick. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember having that conversation. Like, oh, no, we don't do that. No,
Nobody does.
nobody we know does
They don't.
that.
They don't. Yeah, they didn't see a reason to.
And I'm like, oh, but okay.
And I mean, you guys know, like I'm not religious. I was raised kind of with a religious background, but I don't ever knock on anybody who is religious. There are certain religious practices that I will knock on because I think that some of them are ridiculous and abusive and that type of thing. But I certainly, like I've said, I have never really like been witness to a Mormon temple that wasn't at least somewhat brainwashing. It's attempting to brainwash, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And
Right.
that's
Right.
so.
Well, and I had a very interesting, there was an interaction that I saw a few days ago. And one person is Christian and religious and thinks that this other person is, but this other person isn't. And so,
I've been in that situation so many times.
and so this person says, well, I'm going to ask so-and-so if they want to be on the prayer list at my church. And I was like, okay, I don't think so-and-so would want to be on that prayer list.
Probably not.
But it's up to you. So so-and-so person did ask the other person, and the person said, oh, absolutely.
Sure.
And I'm like this, and that person said, I think, as I had him repeat it, he said, I think the most important part of prayer is knowing that, being a person and knowing someone who's praying for you. Not that you think because he wasn't Christian or he was not religious.
I think
but
that like prayer is, I feel like it's akin to meditation.
Well, he felt like it was
I feel
someone
like it's,
saying, I'm thinking of you. And that's what I tell him. I'm like, I'm sending you good healing thoughts and I'm thinking of you. But he felt if someone says, I'm praying for you, that he felt that they were indeed caring for him and sitting and caring thoughts. He didn't.
Yeah.
The fact that they were praying to a God that he didn't believe in, that was not
it
a
doesn't
problem.
factor to it, yeah.
That was not a problem for him because
And see, I feel like prayer also is good for, like, not just the person who's getting prayed for, like you said, that's like, but it's also good for the person who's praying. So, like, if somebody asked me, can I pray for you if I was going through something? Absolutely, you can pray for me. If you're gonna ask me to pray with you, I'll probably say no.
yeah, and in that situation.
There's a video of me when I was a bridesmaid at a wedding, and it's actually kind of a funny video because it's the wedding video, and both sets of parents of the bride and groom were very Christian, but both the bride and groom were atheists, and several members of the wedding party were Christian. And there's this video of the wedding, and like the pastor's like, all right, let's bow our heads and pray. And it's like me and the bride and the groom just like, like go for it. I mean, I will be quiet and respectful if you guys pray, absolutely.
You weren't gonna bow your head.
I'm not gonna like bow my head and pretend I'm praying, like. And plus, y'all had your heads bowed.
How would you know?
Unless you watched that wedding
Yeah,
tape.
but you that one that's looking up and going, why isn't your head down?
Exactly. If you're gonna look up and call me on it, why isn't your head down?
Yeah, I remember as a girl being with some family members, and they were kind of that born again Christian thing, and so they were really into like praying out loud and getting in a circle and holding hands and all this stuff. But the thing was, if you didn't want to, then you were supposed to squeeze the hand of the person. Say the prayers are coming this way, and you say your prayers, and then I'm like, I got nothing, so I just squeeze this person's hand and say, take it, because I'm past. Skip. But I was doing that, and this person would not go. They were like, and I'm like squeezing their hand. Yeah, I finally did. I was like, go. I was like a kid, and that was the rule they told me, but I'm squeezing, and then it didn't work. But finally, I was like, I got nothing. Or, and then my little kid had, I don't know how I said it. And my was like, go. I don't wanna.
I don't wanna.
Public speaking. It was a public, and it was in a circle.
Oh yeah, so they're all facing you.
Everybody sees you.
Everybody's facing.
Yeah, we're all facing. I don't wanna. That had happened.
We are like, we're
Really-
after 1 o'clock.
We're
and
really long.
Usually she has to leave at 1, so we should probably round it up, finish it up for the day. What's the word that I'm?
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
I thought
Wrap it up.
Because
I don't
I haven't been able to do that. Where do we go?
Yeah. Also, like psych meds are messing with my brain lately because there've been some changes, but.
That can happen too. That's
But you know what? Being a little bit foggy brained is better than like being severely depressed.
Amen. Amen. And if someone has any, no, I can't ask that. That's like the girl that I knew that worked at the daughter that I knew that worked at the pharmacy, and I swear the person came in and they're like,
What are you here for?
and well, I mean, I learned how to do that in my 20s, so don't do that. But a customer came up to her and she says, I'm looking for that supplement or that vitamin that's good for memory, but I don't remember what it is. I swear to God.
I don't remember.
And
Is it ginkgo?
Yeah.
Ginkgo
that was the ginkgo days. But I also think lecithin is
I don't know what that is.
supposed to be good for that. So if anybody knows any of those, if you drop a comment, is that okay to ask?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I forgot. I don't know that I
What are some good things for Savage Mama's memory?
yeah. Because yeah.
Besides taking notes, because that's good.
That's good too, yeah. But I think it is lecithin, and I think it was the ginkgo biloba, but then I think they said that was not good because it could, something about people have having little mini strokes, I think. I think I heard that.
That's not cool.
It's like too much.
So yeah, always research shit before you take it.
Yeah. Good call.
Like talk to your doctor.
Good call.
There's some stuff where it's like if like that supplement can interfere with your medications and stuff. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you go to the physician and they want your list of meds, I always include
include your supplements.
I include the supplements.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today.
Mhm.
If today is your birthday, I want to wish you a very happy birthday. Either way, I hope that you make it a good one. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with us today. You could be doing anything, but you chose to hang out with us. Thank you. We appreciate it. And stay tuned for next week to see if Savage Mama's gonna cut my hair.
We'll see.
All right. I got stuff to do, so I can't go on a raid today. But thank you so much for watching. Bye.